derivative, Jill.
Can I offer you some tea?
Good tea. Nice house.
Would you make me some of that Plomeek soup?
Hello, and welcome to Plomeek Teatime number 64, where we are celebrating my having passed 666 subscribers, and so I wanted an excuse to step outside my area of experience. I know my sci-fi, but I don't pay all that much attention to horror or religious fantasies, and so I say that because there are some horrific scenes in this movie, but I don't know how much of a horror it is. It's a very strange experience when you watch The Prophecy. But what I can tell you is that it was released on September 1st, 1995, written and directed by Gregory Winden. And so the funny thing is if I had chosen this movie on my own, I might have gone for Dogma, which after seeing this one, I kind of still like it more, but in many ways, somehow this movie kind of reminds me of it. Which, of course, I know this movie came first. So I wanted to see something I never saw before. So I want to thank Tiger Stripes for suggesting The Prophecy from 1995.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Really, yeah, go ahead.
And how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, really great. How about you, Scotty R37?
I am absolutely blown away by having seen this film. It was recommended to me when it came out, and it's been on my list for decades, literally. And now that I finally got to see it, I am very, very happy I did. And as you mentioned, Jill, there are a lot of echoes of Dogma, and it did remind me of that. But I did enjoy this movie. Be damned its IMDb rating.
I kind of actually agree with that rating, but at the same time, I can see all of the very interesting things there are to talk about it. The writing is a little funny to me. This is also Winden's very first direction. So this is the first time he directs a movie. He directed the Tales from the Crypt before.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
So,
and he's famous for Highlander. If
that's
you
after
like I did on YouTube and try to find an interview with him about this film. No, it's all Highlander all the time. So that's where he made his money. And he
made his money.
I don't know that he directed much after this, which is a pity because I really do like this film and I think it holds together. And I do think that maybe it and Dogma owe something to Neil Gaiman's The Sandman. And I thought so even when I saw this film in the theater at the time.
That's an interesting parallel, but yeah, absolutely, I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, I think
especially the diner scene in Sandman.
I think that's where they borrowed the concepts of the angels and Lucifer, and sort of being approachable, being sort of just a guy you talk to.
Kind of not a perfect. Because the angels are not portrayed as these perfect godlike beings. They're kind of more like us, kind of more flawed.
Well, they're also mortal here. And they're fallen. So
right, they don't have their wings.
Yes. And
though they perch like little birds, though.
Love that detail. I can't get enough of that. It's the posture of somebody who's clearly sort of used to flying.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so, that's definitely the way that they portray it. And I want to say hello to the chat before we get to the slides. Hello to Franco Walker. Edge of Time says, "Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is a human number, 666.
Well, and because it's a theological thriller, I am going to be referencing things like Dogma, but also things like End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger versus the devil. The reason that it's 666 is because it's backwards and upside down, as he would have seen in a dream. And that's why everyone thought the end of days was going to happen in 1999. If you invert and upside down it, it is 666.
Yeah, that's what I learned as a kid, was that the real number was 999. Penny. Hey, Penny.
Hey, Penny.
Oops, over, out of time. Quoting Prince.
Also, hello to Daniel's Hot Topics. This looks like a scary movie.
Nah.
It really is
scary, really.
It isn't scary so much as there are horrific things, like moments of gross. It's more gross than horrifying.
A theological thriller.
It is. It does. I've not seen it though, says Franco. And Daniel's Hot Topics asks about the Antichrist. This is not about the Antichrist.
No, it's about the war in heaven.
Although there is, and they do want to use an evil soul in order to win heaven.
As a weapon, one assumes. That's never quite explained.
No, not really. I guess maybe if we could actually have seen Hawthorne used as a tool, because they're trying to use a guy who committed war crimes.
He's the MacGuffin, recently. Really.
I guess recently they want to use a very evil war criminal to...
He was supposed to be the blackest soul on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the current blackest soul on Earth, because I guess wouldn't she go back to Stalin or Hitler or something? I don't know.
It has to be a fresh soul.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering. They never say that, though, but that would make sense.
Well, and Lucifer himself does say that the evil that men can come up with, like mankind, can come up with is far darker than anything born of heaven or hell.
And so Gavin Blackburn is here.
Hey, Gavin.
Hey, Gavin Blackburn.
Hey, Frank.
It has Christopher Walken and Viggo Mortensen. What's not to like? Yes, I love that Viggo Mortensen is the prince of. He's the prince of darkness, but he becomes the king in the Lord of the Rings.
Oh, right. Sorry.
It's a nice transition.
It is.
Yes, good segue.
999 is the emergency phone number here in the United Kingdom.
Careful who answers.
Hello to Brogu. Hope you're enjoying your Friday.
Oh, and I have to say this. Penny.
Well, if you have to say that, I have to say Matt G. He says Jill. And hi. Hello to the Comic Relief Crusader.
Hey.
This story is about the Archangel Gabriel. I guess I should bring up the slides now. There you go. There they are. There's an hour's worth of them. Because there's so much crazy dialogue in this movie.
It's pretty hilarious too. I guess it's Walken with his unique way of twisting a line, but a lot of it struck me as funny, and I enjoyed that about it.
Yeah, it is a bit absurdist. I was laughing, especially every time Walken says talking monkeys.
Yeah.
Yes. So it harkens back to Buckaroo. It's not my planet, monkey boy. Whenever they want to insult us as human beings, they always make the monkey analogy.
They do. Well, this story is about Christopher Walken's character, Archangel Gabriel.
Eric Stoltz at his dishiest.
Oh, yeah.
Redheads.
Oh, is Simon? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Elias Koteas.
Yeah, that guy has had quite a career. For a while there,
Casey Jones.
In every movie I saw, it seemed like in the 90s. I couldn't get away from him.
Mm-hmm.
The P-Prophecy.
Oh, is that what it's called? The P-Prophecy. Gotcha.
Big shout out to
letter.
Big shout out to Adam Goldberg. I've always been a big fan of.
And Steve Heitner, who's always funny.
Banya.
Well, and and Archangel Gabriel's plan is to just pick to me it just feels like a random evil soul, but is it supposed to literally be the darkest current soul living? I guess so.
I think so. That's part of the
And
prophecy.
Mhm.
and this is
They do,
supposed to open up another heaven, but it's going to turn out to be hell.
yeah, two
It's
hells.
uh,
There are
but
some interesting thoughts in this, and the reason that Lucifer gets involved in the first place is again pride and petty spite in terms of the human race being more favored by God than the angels, and the angels feeling that they've been pushed aside. And so I do like that he takes ownership. Lucifer takes ownership of the war because he says this is just vengeance, and I own
well,
vengeance.
the angels are jealous of humans because God has given them souls and seems to be paying more attention to them. It kind of feels like the angels are middle children. They've turned into the middle child, and now they don't have God's love as much as they had before.
Yes, absolutely. They were pushed aside.
And so the human character in this story is Thomas Daggett. Daggett.
Daggett.
Daggett.
Daggett. And so he's about to become a priest, but then he sees this war going on between heaven and earth, and he loses his faith. So he becomes a police officer.
It was rather amusing because as you see him attempting to take the oath of priesthood, and so obviously, like once we do sort of flash forward, and you can tell because he has a worse wig on, but you can tell that he's given up on life and lost his faith because he's smoking. Anytime you want to show somebody, you either show them as an alcoholic or a smoker, and you can tell that they've given up on life.
Oh, is that what that is? Is that what that
That's
says?
usually what that is. Yeah.
I've never noticed that prejudice.
No, alcohol definitely is a character flaw. It's a big one.
Well, it's also fun.
It
I
is.
know, but people who drink themselves to death, there's something going on there that's terribly sad.
Oh, great.
You get used to it.
Still tragic.
Yeah, at a certain point, yes, it does become destructive.
Oh, Penny. Penny's leaving her window open even though she's running out to errands. You don't have to do that for us, Penny.
That's really sweet. No, that is super sweet of Penny. She likes to do that. Thank you, Penny.
Oh.
Happy
Penny.
errands. I hope everything goes smooth and traffic isn't bad. PJ Bear. Hello, PJ Bear. Good to
Hey,
see you
Peach.
today. How are
And
you?
Ari.
Gotta love
Yeah,
a
read the
bear.
bell. What's up, Bless C Nation? And of course, I can't watch a Christopher Walken movie without having Gil on my mind.
Yes.
So yeah, he
That's
had the
absolutely
best
true.
impression. and so so this church these church scenes, and anytime there are church scenes, I'm always taken back to my childhood. I'm just waiting for church to be over. And so we don't spend too much time in church because he has an episode, and that's the end of his priesthood before it even started.
Well, and they do comment on it later as the worst thing that, for angels at least, that can happen is the absence of the presence of God. And the worst thing that happened to our protagonist is actually seeing the presence of God, or at least what has been wrought based on man's creation and the jealousy that was cultivated within the angels.
That's even in the script where it says some people lose their faith because they don't see enough. But what if you lose your faith because you saw too much?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I actually want to
The
pull
only
up
thing
the
worse
script.
than
That would do it.
the only thing worse than not knowing is actually knowing.
I have not actually searched for that quote to see if it really is in the Bible or if it was just something that was created for the film. It's a good quote.
Wouldn't
It
he
sounds
seems
authentic.
it does sound good. He has a very unique perspective on faith. So yeah, I don't know how much of I know that there are some inaccuracies, but I didn't go to check or cross check it, but it's inserted as a form of fiction within the story, so I think it works in that way. I want to find the script because I wanted this line and I forgot to pull up the script first.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up, Tiger, because with another very famous quote from scripture, Ezekiel 25:17, not necessarily the exact quote. So I am curious myself.
Yeah, so the angels in this movie kind of behave more like demons in this movie, and I think that's kind of the point because the original movie was called Demons and God's Army. The angels are this way because Whedon wanted to focus on the dark side of the angels that you could find in the Old Testament. So Elias Cotier, is that how you say it? He's Thomas Daggett. Coteus?
I would have to guess at it.
And then, okay, so that's Daggett. And Virginia Madsen is Catherine.
Just completely inappropriately to be a teacher, in my humble opinion.
Oh, yeah. Don't all elementary school?
Show their belly, have the belly shirt on. Yes.
Yeah, all elementary school teachers wear crop tops.
Yes, even on the res, you should dress a little better than that, I think.
Oh my God, yeah, no, yep.
Virginia Madsen is such an interesting actress because I don't know what it is about her. Whenever I see that she's in a film that I'm about to watch, like if the opening credits and it's like, oh, Virginia Madsen's in this. And then I watch it. She's really not that bad. I don't know why I have such a prejudice against her.
She's wonderful. She's a great actress. Although I will say that for some reason, ever since it was, I have spent a lot of time believing that Virginia Madsen was one of the girls in Twin Peaks. And I went and did my research, and she's not. She never was. So why, that's a real Mandela effect thing that I've gone through where for some reason I've spent decades believing this, but it's not true.
Why is it that whenever anybody finds out that they're wrong about something, they blame it on the Mandela effect?
Because
why can't you just be wrong? It's not an alternate history or anything. It's just like, oh, I was mistaken.
I wonder who I'm conflating her with, because they did all sort of come around at the same time.
Is it Madden Amchek?
Perhaps that's the name, Madden and Madsen. Maybe that's where I got confused. That's really possible.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I've crossed into another dimension with facts like this, and so I do know the feeling.
It's like Dermot Mulroney and Dylan McDermott.
Yes. Didn't they actually have a SNL sketch where that was a game show?
Yes.
They would just bring them out and ask the contestants, okay, who is this? Is this Dermot Mulroney or Dylan McDermott? And nobody could get it right.
I still can't.
I think I can.
I really do like Virginia Madsen in this movie. I just don't like her in that Star Trek Voyager. I just don't like her in the Star Trek Voyager episode Unforgettable. That was a totally forgettable, terrible episode. It's the one where Chakotay falls in love with someone he doesn't remember, and she's like, remember that we were in love? And he's like, no, but then he falls in love anyway. It's really bad. Really, really terrible episode.
Gotta give a shout out to Classic Comics. Hello, Classic Comics, with Madchen Amick. That is the name I was attempting to recall.
Oh, hey, and hello to Melvin Deeply. How are you doing today? Oh, and Daniel's back.
Back again. Now, it's interesting that Daniel had been asking, and Ari says, Scotty, that's a postmodern take. In The Exorcist, the smoking thing had a very different meaning. I hate to fail you, Uri, but still haven't seen The Exorcist. I got it. A friend of mine sent it to me on Blu-ray. Haven't seen it.
That is what Gorilla's Random Thoughts wanted us to review for today's broadcast, but he just told us after I already posted this. So, but I told him we're going to be covering it on Tuesday with the lights of Teatime.
But it's interesting because Daniel's Hot Topic was asking if the Antichrist had been born in this particular film, and the thing is that would be the birth of the Antichrist is
He was
hell. That's Lucifer versus God. This is actually a war for heaven. So Lucifer is happily in the pit while the angels fight it out.
right, because this isn't his war. He doesn't really. He's not in it to have another hell. He doesn't want competition.
Right. He's very proud. I've seen what happens to the proud when they take on the throne.
Oh, but
It goeth before a fall.
if Gorilla is listening to it, this broadcast, there is an exorcism in this movie.
True.
That's true. Good call.
And so Thomas Daggett did get through some of his schooling. He got really close to finishing. So this is his thesis. I've almost found the script. I'm looking for it. And so, of course, Viggo Mortensen plays Lucifer. Eric Stoltz plays Simon.
Viggo.
And we haven't seen her yet, but later on in the movie, we're going to get Amanda Plummer, starring Rachel, who's going to be the second zombie person. I love that idea.
It is a good idea.
Angels kind of being necromancers and bringing back people on the who have just died as zombies
at their own hand. It has to be I hate to say this, but you've told me to be good. The people who have attempted self-deletion. I feel so childish saying that. But yes, they are brought back. And what worse purgatory than being forced to continue living between worlds, still in pain, constantly, and a servant. And all they wanted was to free themselves of that pain. And so it is malicious. But then again, what else do you expect from these monkeys?
Well, that's true for the first zombie, but the second one doesn't Gabriel find Rachel in the hospital? So
I still think that they are.
Yes, I think that's
it was an attempted
a
self-deletion.
good surmisal. Yeah, that the person has to have been taking themselves out.
Because even Christopher Walken says
because that sends you to limbo anyway, I believe. Theologically.
Yeah, yes. Do you have any idea how hard?
Although
find one of them?
Although at some point Amanda Plummer's character starts to talk about entering heaven, which again doesn't quite work with what the premise that they've set up. So.
Well, and how is it explained, Tiger, in terms of the operation of heaven?
What?
Like in terms of, they say, like Lucifer, and you may not necessarily want to take your facts from a forked tongue, but Lucifer says that hell's always open, and the
even
problem
on Christmas.
even on Christmas. But the problem with
Especially
the war is that they have closed heaven. God has closed heaven. Souls are not achieving.
Well, that's actually what the Bible says.
Is that the war still going on this whole time? What war exactly?
The war between angels, the loyal and the jilted, I suppose.
The fallen and those who defended heaven, I suppose.
But,
And that war means no admittance into heaven. Everybody's in purgatory, or what is going on there? Exactly?
Well, I mean, there's nothing in the Bible about anybody going to heaven. We're all supposed to simply lie until the day of judgment. We lie in our graves.
Rapturous.
Oh, okay. So everybody's just waiting.
Again, from what I understand, I have not read the Bible, so I'm kind of talking out of my hat here.
Yeah.
Well, that's what
Sadly-
that's what this movie makes it seem like. Everybody's souls are just still trapped in wherever, and I don't know, floating out somewhere or in their bodies.
But you
or
really
just
can't
hanging
trust
out, or
anything.
just be possessing people or what?
Yes, but you can't trust anything that Lucifer says. He's the father of lies.
Agreed.
It's true.
And we get our first action scene. We get angels battling, which is there are some things that I do appreciate about the movement and the characterization of all the angels, is they like to perch on things that you wouldn't be able to perch upon, and whenever they jump down onto anything, they land very lightly, divinely,
Do they?
if you will. Yeah, I mean, there's no stomp. Even when later on, when Christopher Walken jumps on that guy's grave, he jumps from up high from the tombstone onto the casket, and it's just a slight tap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're right.
I thought that was a nice touch. Also, I want to know where that car was going at high speed through the alley that crashes immediately into a wall. What were you, through pure happenstance, because Eric Stoltz throws the Klingon angel, because he's got head ridges, out of a window, and then he hits a car, stands up, and then gets hit by another car that promptly squishes him against a wall. And it's like, well, where was the car off to in such a hurry? That was the only logical fallacy that I could find within the movie. Other than that, it holds up.
I can think of a couple more.
I can't wait.
Easily.
Oh yeah, there are tons of strange.
Yeah, the bumpy
turns in
forehead
the
on this
logic
guy
in
was
this
so
movie.
unnecessary. Nobody else has a bumpy forehead. Why him?
Well, he is an aborted fetus who grew to a human size.
Well,
I was wondering, were they saying all angels who become mortal just
Are
appear
fetuses?
biologically as fetuses?
No, I think he's saying that angels are created. They don't grow. They're just made. They were all just made by the hand of God.
Okay.
There's
That
no
makes
growth
sense.
involved. They don't start out as tiny little baby angels and then, boom, they're big. They're just created.
Makes sense. And hermaphroditic.
And that's
Right.
interesting because I always understood that angels had no junk. They had no sex.
Again,
Yeah,
dogma.
that's in
That's what I
Dogma.
thought.
Neither male nor female.
But they did say that they don't work. So,
Yeah, that was really funny. You
That
can
was
be both
funny.
frigid and impotent.
yeah. Yeah, so Daggett is a police officer now, and two angels, they have a fight. One wins.
Yeah, the coroner had the greatest lines. He had some great lines.
Well, and I'm curious what everybody's thoughts are in terms of is the exploration of faith and the sort of situations presented in the Bible, is it exploring this and then using them as fictional characters? Is this film blasphemous?
I think anybody who's a true fundamentalist finds almost everything blasphemous.
Like in terms of fictional depiction of the
in
Word
whatever
of God?
and whatever religion that they're a part of. It's
Oh, I suppose it is a sin. Oh, I'm sure she'll be back, ladies and gentlemen. No reason to be concerned.
yeah.
As I
believe this
mentioned.
was the first film. I know I saw Vigo in Witness, and I do think I clocked him. I had one of those.
How long have I
moments.
been muted? I've been talking like a whole bunch. And
You
I don't know.
disappeared for a couple of seconds. You just were gone.
Just for
completely.
seconds? Yeah,
Yes,
but
seconds.
Less than a
when's the
minute.
last time I talked?
Oh,
The year was
3 minutes
1964.
ago. You know how Scotty goes on. So
No, but I've been saying stuff, so I think I missed. I don't know where I left
tut.
off.
Last time you said anything, it was about Daggett being a policeman now.
Oh yeah, that's not bad. Okay.
And the
Then we're
car
okay.
hitting the guy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
oh. Oh, that was there's a bit of trivia that a couple years ago, while this movie I guess was being written or produced in 1993, Christopher Walken played the Angel of Death in a Madonna music video for Bad
Oh.
Girl. Like I never
Oh, I
seen
would
this
like to
video
see
before.
that. Yes,
But
really.
apparently,
That's a must.
yeah, apparently it matches his depiction of Gabriel.
Wow. That's something I have to see. That's something I simply must see.
And Jill,
Yeah.
we're just missing the slides.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll bring the slides back, but I need to say hello to Jedi Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
And okay, so apparently I missed a few comments. I don't know. Wait a second. Where am I? All right, so the last one I really was on was here where Edge of Time sings a song to us. Oh, this is a song that's in the movie. So this is why he's
Oh, good one, Edge of Time.
putting it here. Bears love honey, honey loves bees. We belong together like the monkeys in the trees. I'll always love you. We're stuck like glue. I want to be
your best friend too. He had a bear voice.
Yeah.
Where's Snortopupus when you need him?
Well, yeah, I've actually never heard.
Okay, so we've actually responded to you about this, Daniel's Hot Topics.
Mm-hmm.
This movie is not about the Antichrist, but
I'm afraid not.
It has a.
I jumped
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry.
But it does
No.
have the beast.
No, it's not your fault, Scotty. You addressed him, and so that's the thing. Yeah, it has Lucifer and it has angels and all of that. Angels who behave a little more like demons. That helps, and an evil soul that needs to be apparently recruited to win the war in heaven, except for bad purposes. It's a misguided kind of thing.
Oh, that's
And-
cruel.
Melvin, deeply, I absolutely agree with you. Elias Koteas' wig needed a bigger budget for this film.
Wigs.
Yep.
He had more than one. Two.
Multiple,
He had at
yes,
least two.
agreed.
Wigs is very expensive.
Oh, okay. So Daniel wants me to read all of his comments. He said, "I heard years ago in
Must
the
read?
future
Be
that
right back.
the devil's going to possess a man, and the man's going to sleep with a lady of the night, and she will give birth to the Antichrist."
And his
Okay.
name will be Freddy Krueger.
Oh yeah, and Freddy Krueger's going to enter your dreams, and bad things are going to happen. Sounds good to me. Perhaps it's not the names you confuse, or even the looks of the time frame that these actresses appeared. They all broke into the acting scene within a few years of each other. Yeah.
I think, yeah, Tiger mentioned. It could be part of it. I wouldn't confuse Virginia Madsen with Laura Flynn Boyle, but I can understand how you would think that she might be Sherilyn Fenn.
Yeah. And so this is actually a very real concern for Daniel's Hot Topics. He's worried about the Antichrist introducing the mark of the beast upon people.
Little baby, don't say
And then
a word.
people won't be able to buy things. Well, we still do have Instacart. Melvin Deeply says 2 hells is 1 hell too many. I think that's what Vigo says at the end. Yeah, exactly. And so what
Totes.
Gabriel's doing, I don't know. Does Gabriel know he's opening up a second hell? Like, what does he think he's doing with an evil soul?
Again, I think that this is the pride of the angels, and this is part of the reason why I was likening it to Dogma. It's for angels to defy God's will undo existence, and Bartleby and Loki in Dogma have no thought as to what the consequences to their actions are. Consequences, schmonsequences, but they are only single-mindedly driven to be able to return to the kingdom of heaven. But with Gabriel thinks that if he defeats the loyal, then he will be allowed to reclaim the kingdom of heaven, or at least participate within it. And that's when Lucifer shows up and says, "Oh, that's not how this works, yo." I don't want you to reclaim heaven because God will defy you. You're never going to be able to one up God. You can't. It's in the book. And
Yeah.
Gabriel's like, I don't really give a good care.
Well, I like what Daggett says. Why don't you just talk to God? Well, aren't you his messenger? And Gabriel's like, God hasn't talked to me in forever. Like, why isn't God talking to the angels? I don't understand.
God.
Oh, why doesn't God talk to anybody anymore? He's it has something to do with free will. It's quite annoying.
It's true. Well, I can understand why he doesn't talk with mortals living on Earth, but you think he'd talk to his own servants or people who are supposed to be on his side.
But the one thing that precludes that is faith.
I don't know where Stone Racket is.
I'm not sure where Stone Racket is. Miss him deeply.
Yeah.
But no, faith is the prerequisite for being eventually rewarded with the presence of God.
Well, and wondering where the presence of God is on Earth is something that people do think about, and that's something this movie explores. The city is almost a ghost town except for a few dozen people. Like, what's the population of this place? The school is so small, there's only like less than 50 kids in it for all of the grades.
Well, when they introduce you to the town, they also show you that the town's lost a lot of business, lost a lot of population, places are closed.
Yeah, they had a mining facility and it got shut down, and so the heart of the city is gone.
Yes, yeah. And that was, when did all of that really start happening, where all of the business started leaving America and places did start becoming ghost towns?
Mm-hmm.
Was it around in the mid-90s? I feel like it was a little sooner than that, but during the 90s for sure was when you really started to notice it. Started to feel it.
Yeah. And there was even that, and sort of digress, but there was that movie with Michael Keaton, and it was all about how all the business was going to Asia and Japan and whatnot. And so there was a loss of mining and industrialization in the United States.
Yeah. The car towns, Motown, everything just went empty. I thought it was odd that they equated Gabriel with the angel of death.
How so?
I don't know. I don't think that's Gabriel's place as an angel.
But
although I'm not really clear on who the angel of death is or what that individual's name is, but
the only reason I ask is even with the guard who Gabriel shushes and he collapses, and I was like, oh, I guess Gabriel can just kill people willy-nilly. But then when Daggett goes to investigate with Banya, and it's like, did the guard get a look at him? And it's like, yeah, he was tall, smiled a lot. So the guard lived. It's not like when he sort of shushed them, they died. It was literally just like, you are inconsequential, go to sleep. And they would wake up fine without a care.
Yeah, Vulcan neck pinch eats your heart out.
Yeah.
Apparently it's supposed to be biblical. If we have anybody who's an expert on this, is this the thing where Gabriel's just supposed to be able to dispatch people?
There's not that much in the Bible about angels. There's a whole trend on YouTube and other platforms where artists are trying to create biblically accurate angels just from the description in the Bible, and they are terrifying, and they're not human at all. They're giant whirling balls of eyes and all kinds of bizarre things.
I hate to say Lovecraftian, but it sounds that way.
Yeah. Jared Bill, are you viewing this film now? We watched this movie before the live stream, so we're talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we're not actually viewing it the way that you do, Bill.
And thank you, Frank, for telling me about the slide. The song Best Friend is by Peter Bear. I used song recognition software, but couldn't find the full version. I'm wondering if it wasn't written specifically for the Prophecy soundtrack.
I think so, and I
Ooh.
don't think it's a coincidence that the last name is Bear. I think that's probably a pseudonym.
That's really it's a cute
Well,
song.
based on the budget of the film, it's probably a public domain. Hard to nail
Oh,
down.
they spent all their money on their talent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
acting talent.
yeah.
Well, that was one of the philosophies of the director. If I could get good actors, everything else will fall in place, right?
I read that he really wrote the role for Walken, and Walken was the first person to sign on. So,
And
And
that'll,
he
and of course, actor of that caliber who's already been acting for 40 years is going to attract other good actors.
yes.
Christopher Walken is an Academy Award winner. Yes, he won for the Deer Hunter.
Yes, I believe he did.
And one of those actors he attracted was Viggo Mortensen. So he definitely joined this because of that, just because he wanted to work with Walken.
Well, this is also anybody who's a big fan of the game 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. You could probably get to a lot of people through this movie as being a keyhole.
Makes sense. Oh, here's the very first time that we see Gabriel put someone to sleep.
That was one of my favorite things. Sorry, I'm bouncing around a little bit, but it's like, you know why you got that
Oh, you
dent
bounce around as
above
much as
your
you want.
nose.
This is
Above
Friday.
your,
You can go to the end of the movie. I don't care. So
it's because
angels
I
don't look
told
like
you a
people with
secret.
wings. They look like big balls with trillions of eyes. Says Daniel's
Yes.
Hot Topics.
Oh, there's, like I said, all you have to do is sort of look on YouTube, biblically correct angels, and you'll see all kinds of people who are drawing them and crafting them and sculpting them, and they are not human. They're not.
You know, there's
I mean,
a 5-disc or 5-film set for the prophecy. There are 5 of these.
yes,
There are.
and Cardinal Sin used to say that they were all excellent, and I'm here to say that I tried the second one, and I think I made it all the way through, and it was not good.
Gosh.
But it's got, like, when I was going through and looking at them, a lot of Star Trek actors in 1, 2, and 3, or sorry, 2 and 3.
But Card loved them all, but I think
Nice.
that's his
He
walk-in
did. Well,
loyalty.
but then wouldn't he not love them all then? Because isn't Walken only in the first 3?
Yes.
That's a good point. Yes. I did notice, just again, doing a search, that the little girl, Mariah Shining
Mary.
Dove,
Oh, yes.
yeah, the actress, she's in the third one, which is interesting.
Ooh.
So it makes me kind of a little more curious about that one than I would have otherwise have been.
Well, it's only $30 on Blu-ray, so I'm probably going to be spending my lunch money on it.
Well,
We'll have that and report back, because
Will do.
I think pass. I tried the second one. It just didn't rate.
It has J.G. Hertzler.
There
in
it is,
though.
the Angel of Death, Vengeance, Revelation, Annunciation. Interesting.
one of the highest ranking angels. Well, for Whedon's imagination, angels are like God's hitmen rather than just servants. I don't know. I
He's
think
also saying that Gabriel's a fallen angel. I mean, there's
Yeah,
some real confusion here about what's happening and who's fighting who and for what reason.
I'm
Because
absolutely
Simon
confused.
also wants this soul for, I think, the same reason.
Really?
I think he says something.
That's what he
much.
says at the beginning, right? He says
Yeah.
something like that
And
at the start of the movie.
So
Brothers
then why
and
are
our
he and
brothers.
Gabriel
or
fighting
something?
if they're both, on the same page with that, to take this horrible dark soul back up to heaven for the battle, unless that's part of God's plan, because they seem to be on opposite sides. Again, I think God's kind of checked out in this one.
Yeah, they're just doing.
This is
The
just
angels
a
are
battle
just
for dominion.
the angels are just fighting over the toys, and the toys are the humans. He thinks,
Yeah, but
he thinks. So Whedon, I think, from the way I interpreted what he's saying here, he thinks that the station that the angels have been given gives them a greater capacity for rebellion, and I guess especially with God's absence.
Well, but this is something that, going back to the question that I asked before, and not to say that I'm going to answer it, but this is one of the things that makes these theological thrillers or comedies, in the case of dogma or action movies when it comes to End of Days, is that the creation of man is the greatest thing that God has ever done. And the angels become jealous of it. Lucifer battles God himself based upon it. But God created man, and it was good because man will do God's will. And this is another step in that, I'll say, prophecy, is that the good of God is present in man. And we strive for it as humans, but we don't necessarily understand it. Whereas someone like Gabriel, an angel, I don't think he's fallen. I think that he is looking to bend the ear of God again, have the attention of God again. Whereas God doesn't want the attention, just belief.
I think that's the interesting thing about Whedon, is that he's not afraid to say, look, I don't really understand this stuff. And I don't know that and it's fine if it isn't understandable. And so I found some notes from Cinefantastique, some magazine. It's a really funny name of a magazine, but it's a real famous.
It's French.
And he says, unfortunately, we tend to push these things into all evil and all bad, and the devil is just this cackling guy in a corner who was evil from moment one. Actually, in the Bible and in a lot of other writings, Lucifer started off as the good guy. And speaking of which, before I finish reading this, I want to say thank you to Gavin Blackburn for the 99-pound super sticker of a little devil. It's a little devil emoji.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste.
And so for Gavin Blackburn, I'll play. What should I play?
Something.
He plays another one. He gave us another one, but this time with the angel. Oh, something. Oh, I know. You're right.
Feklar?
Where's that?
We don't have Feklar. That's from Devil's Due. There's Star Trek The Next Generation episode with Ardra, which was my vote for today, but I'm so glad that we got to watch this instead. Again, I have to thank you, Tiger. This is a brilliant idea. And how was... Oh, we're still looking for...
Not for while you can, monkey boy.
Delightful. Absolutely perfect.
But then Gavin Blackburn sends a 99-cent super sticker of an angel, so then I got to play a nice one.
You have a point there.
A little bit of an echo on the clips. Just don't forget to mute your who is it.
Thank you.
You have a point there.
So I'll play that one again then.
He is perfect.
He is. Mm-hmm.
But what, Tiger? Oh, sorry.
Not for while you can, monkey boy.
And one more.
Tear loves Tiva. Repeat. Tear loves Tiva. Repeat.
My favorite acting teacher.
Oh, what a lovely bunch of coconuts.
Yeah, I've been wanting to add that one in ever since you asked for it. So I've been wanting to play it.
Well, that's another film that I really enjoyed getting to see for the first time. So thank you, Jill, for hosting these conversations. But Tiger, what was it like seeing this in the theater?
It was good. It was a little confusing, I gotta say. You know, I thought it was good as a good mystery. you know, the unfolding of the story, and you know, and I got to say, I did make the Sandman analogy even then, because I was a fan of Gaiman's work. It was just, you know, so big. It was lots of ideas being thrown, you know, big visuals. It was good. Came out a bit confused. You know, when I saw it again at home on home video, I thought, okay, this is connecting better and making sense. And now when I watch it, I kind of get it all. But of course, then I've already seen it.
I don't remember the precise box office, but I think it made something like 16 million, and but they only spent 8 million making it, so it wasn't too bad of a profit.
What a year that you could spend $8 million, get Christopher Walken, Elias Koteas, Virginia Madsen. Who's the ginger again, Tiger?
Eric Stoltz.
That's him. Not Marty McFly. But no, this is incredible. This is you get Banya. Oh, and you get Adam Goldberg.
Adam Goldberg, Vigo.
Like $8 million, you couldn't get all those people in the same room for $8 million today. And I'm sorry, Jill, I don't mean to step over. I do want to say hello to FKHC 2005 because
that's precisely what I wanted to do.
I'm a big fan of Lyle Lanley. Were you sent here by the devil? No, good sir. I'm on the level. Monorail. There we go. Thank you. That made my day. Thank you.
Yeah. But also Franco says, thank you for introducing me to Fantastic Planet. It's a great film. And yeah, I really love it so much. I want to get more clips from it. But here we're seeing the very first zombie of the movie, the zombie that is being used by Gabriel, brought back to life after trying to self-delete. And, he has a name, right? What's his name? I forget already.
Yeah, so do I. I forget too.
Jerry. His name's Jerry.
It's an interesting character introduction because you get to see that image. He obviously ended himself because he had been broken up with, and he's still living in the apartment with there's like pizza boxes and maggots and cigarette butts and
God, it's so nasty.
And a noose still there. So Gabriel showed up at the point of end, and now you get to do the bidding of a higher power, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, the woman in the photo doesn't look exactly thrilled to be there.
That's a good call. That's a really good call.
Okay, so we could see Jerry with his girlfriend in the photo. So that is Michelle Spadero. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right, but she's the set director on this movie, and this is the only time she's in this film. So yeah, she was not a happy-looking girlfriend. Agreed.
But she's kind of perfect for him. They do look like a couple.
Yeah. Yeah, they are pretty perfect. Where am I?
Yeah, I actually thought the people who are, I don't really think of them as zombies. I think of them sort of as just not quite dead yet, but definitely over the threshold. And I thought that there was a lot of opportunity there to do some more gross special effects, even worse than they did.
Oh, they do have him
deterioration
vomit
of the body as the story progresses. They didn't go nearly as gruesome as I would have liked.
Oh yeah, you want some things falling off.
Yeah, just some things happening, you know, but
a little bit of decay.
Again, the budget was kind of low, so. And they spent all that money on that angel's totally unnecessary bumpy forehead, so.
Yeah, well, we don't even see that angel. It doesn't even come back up again. He just has a fight and dies.
That's one of the logical issues. That's the first one, I think.
It's not dead yet. It's just resting. Oh. And also, there are those who call me Tim.
I feel
so this-
happy. I feel happy. Another
This is
Monty
where-
Python quote. Uziel.
Thomas is catching up with the audience that there are angels around. That's part of the weirdness in this movie. The audience knows what's happening before the protagonist very often. And everybody's looking for this Hawthorne guy because they want his soul.
And classically, when you're writing a screenplay, you're supposed to have the big wow at 20 minutes in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're supposed to do your background, introduce your characters, but 20 minutes in, you're supposed to have the big wow. And so I was watching this film, and I was about 30 minutes in, and I went, wait a minute, what was the big wow? And there it is. The big wow was Christopher Walken.
There you go.
I guess they figured he's why you're here. He's the big wow. The introduction of his character and him coming into the screen, that was your big wow. So,
but also, it's important for everybody to know about this very important PSA. Freezers are for bodies, not beer.
That's a nice touch. Although,
but I agree with you.
On the job.
The whole reason to watch this movie, if I recommend this movie to anybody, the only reason I will recommend it is right here, is Christopher Walken. So yes, I agree with everything you're saying completely.
Mm-hmm.
Tiger Stripes.
And the rest of the cast. But I think the writer-director understood, okay, I don't need really a big moment. I don't need a big plot thing. This is my big wow. This is the guy. This is why I wrote the film. This is why I wrote the role for him. When he walks in, that's the big wow.
He is, and works.
Mm-hmm.
Works just for that. Ugh. Oh, we didn't talk about it earlier, but yeah. So the angel, when they had the angel that's burning up right now on the ground, has no eyes. We talked about it. He's hermaphrodite. The blood is of that of a fetus. And he had an ancient Bible from the 2nd century that Thomas Daggett is exploring, is learning about stuff from. He's like, there's a chapter in here that wasn't in the real Bible, like, or the one that I have anyway. That there's a brand new chapter here, and so that's what's in that new chapter. Is what he's got to find out. And then, of course, everybody's looking for the dark soul, which Tiger Stripe said is going to be used as a weapon. Yeah, so Jerry gets all of Uziel's stuff. And oh, hey, welcome back, Tiger Strips.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, this is so creepy.
Connection issues. I'm afraid.
This is. Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Here I am. I'm back. So.
Oh, good. Welcome back.
Yes. No. The children relating the way the angels relate to the children was super creepy.
It's horror. That's the horrifying part of this movie. If there's a horror element to it, it's the way the angels talk to the children, and not just that. It's gross.
It's the kissing that bothers you, the passing of the soul.
Yes.
Yeah, it was horribly intimate. There's something about a kiss that's strangely intimate, even when it's not sexual.
Right. Yeah, like who sees that and this is okay for a movie? I don't know that was a good thing to do.
I'm having connection problems. I'm going to tap out and come back in again.
Okay. I think if there's one scene I wish that they didn't do in this movie, it's this. I didn't get a slide of it because I think it's nasty. I think it's the worst part of the movie. I think it was the worst directing and writing decision. I don't like it. I'll show you the gross corpse or the weird disgusting things, but I'm not going to show you that. I don't have anybody to respond to me for this, really, but I don't need it. I think my opinion is correct. This should not be in this movie. That poor little girl should not have been kissed like that. That is just fucked. Shit, it's Friday, ain't it? Does Gorilla? Yeah, it's Friday. Well, but Scotty R37 told me that this stream was cursed. And I didn't know what it meant, but apparently that means Tiger Stripes is going to have a bad connection. Hopefully this doesn't last and her connection is recovered. It would be good. Because I was just getting angry at that scene where the soul is passed into Mary. I don't like it. I think
that was
it could
creepy.
I think it could have been done a different way, or like without touching. It was more than creepy. I thought it was wrong. I think it was a bad creative decision.
I don't think it was a bad creative decision. I think at that point of the film, transferring the colonel, his soul to an innocent, like it is even in the dialogue where Gabriel says to Jerry, he says, "If you were a soul, where would you hide?" And for one of the most despicable of souls, the best place to hide is in an innocent young girl.
Yeah, I know. I don't think transferring the soul to her was a bad part. Just the kiss. I just didn't like it.
But that's how they transfer souls.
I know. I don't know. It was just a kiss, Franco Walker, but
it was only a kiss.
But yeah, but it's a little girl. That shouldn't be happening.
No, that's true. I'm thinking of that stupid song with Eric Roberts in it.
But I don't want to get too caught up on that. But it is something that I think they should have been creative and stepped around it somehow, or at least not actually show it.
I was yelling
that it doesn't actually have to happen.
I was like, "This is creepy. This is creepy." I want to say hi to Bunyan Snipe.
It's super creepy.
Speaking
hey,
of
Bunyan Snipe. Second century, they say. Yeah. So the oldest Bible ever.
The oldest Bible on record.
He has no eyes. That's an interesting thing. Anytime the angels die, they don't have eyes anymore.
But it's the Klingon angel that shows up who had the ridges. He never had.
Angel.
He never had eyes. And
he didn't have eyes to begin with.
Right. And the very first shot with Eric Stoltz is it shows him with the black eyes, and then he opens them and he actually can see. And so very interesting. Hey, Darius Munchausen.
Wow. But I wanted to continue on with that point because it's not just him who doesn't have eyes. At the end of the movie, when Gabriel dies, he doesn't have eyes either. So it is a thing when angels die, they don't have eyes.
True. But he didn't die. He came back for the sequel.
Well, we think he dies, okay? Or something.
Yes. Darth Vader's TIE fighter was never seen again at the end of the first Star Wars.
But you're right. Darius is here, and he's left a very generous little super sticker of some popcorn. Yeah. Yeah, this is a good popcorn movie for sure. It's like, oh my God. Yeah. It's interesting.
And I think Franco said, it's been a long time since you've seen it and you don't remember anything about it. It's worth it, yo. Check it out again.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back, Tiger.
Connection issues. Yeah.
Connection is made.
Yeah. The juice, you say.
Gavin Blackburn in the chat says, well, I don't think Walken won an Oscar for A View to a Kill. Should have.
Yeah. Ultimately, the responsibility is always God's. What is it?
The responsibility? Oh no, I was asking if you showed the label for the morgue freezers.
Oh my
I
God.
did.
Really
good.
bad connection issues. I think I'm going to have to go all the way out and come all the way back in again. I'm sorry, Jill.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry to hear that, Tiger. I hopefully you can get it fixed. Do you have Ethernet cable? But
That's your answer to
okay.
everything.
I know it is my answer to everything. Well, it's a solution to everybody's problems. If everybody would get an Ethernet cable, no one would have any issues.
Can you open this jar of cheese whiz? Have you tried an Ethernet cable?
Yeah. Well, if you haven't, then what are you doing with your life?
Well, best wishes in terms of the reboot, Tiger, and I hope you come back because it would be
I hope so
a
too.
pity not to have you join us on this one.
Yeah, this one is way more enhanced with your commentary. So I do hope that she returns. But I do want to see what's going on with the chat. Don't fear the Reaper.
Little baby, don't say a word. Never mind the noise you heard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not Don't Fear the Reaper. That's Exit Light. That's Mr. Enter Sandman. Sorry.
I like that though. I like that song. Bunyan Snipe says, as much as I love Danzig in his performance as Samuel, it proves they dodged a bullet not casting him as Wolverine.
Oh, dude, you're absolutely correct. Didn't Danzig make like 2 movies? I thought I saw it on.
And I only read that because I love Danzig. He's in the Misfits, and they played a lot of horror-based punk rock songs with horror lyrics, and so it was kind of thematic towards this movie. 42 is the answer to everything, says FKHC 2005.
Don't forget your towel.
Yeah, very important. That's why you should always keep a drawer full of obsolete cables. I have so many. And hello, Jim. How are you doing today on this Friday?
G'day, Commodore.
Yeah. And so there's Colonel Arnold Hawthorne. He's like a big character in this movie, but you never see him like the actor. Like I was really hoping that he was actually going to get possessed, and we could see them trying to start the war. I knew that it wasn't going to, that the good guys were going to win, or at least the devil was going to win, which he's the good guy in this movie. But we never do get to see Colonel Arnold Hawthorne as in action.
You do, though.
Do we?
You do. Yeah. Well, we get that through Mary's drawings, and we also get it through the projector showing his atrocities with suspected cannibalism, I believe. Welcome back, Tiger. I hope things are on the up and up.
Me too. We'll see. Yeah, I looked up.
Well, you're actually responding, so that's good.
Yes. Well, I couldn't. Y'all sounded like you were being vocoded. I was just getting, just that horrible. So.
Oh no. Well, hopefully things sound a little better.
Yes.
And so I was talking about. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You go first.
What did you look up? Oh, we were talking
Chosen.
about Chosen. Who's Chosen?
Yeah.
Chosen.
Yeah.
Oh, the battle. Okay, the battle at the end of the movie.
Yes.
Okay. And I was talking about how we don't get to see Hawthorne in this movie actually be active, but of course Scotty reminded me that the little girl does speak for Hawthorne and repeat his words and his atrocities, his war crimes, and just a way to creep the audience out and remind us that his soul is within her.
And it works too. Her little drawings, super creepy.
Mm-hmm. They were, I know, like there were almost happy faces on the stakes, and I was just like, oh, weird.
Well, that's yes.
It's through the mind of a child, but horrific. But in this picture, we only see him as a picture. and he is played by Patrick McAllister, but he's not credited.
Yeah, it always hurts, but when you don't get lines, you don't get credited. But I think they gave him a special thanks, right?
Yes.
A thank you in the credits, which is better than nothing.
That's true. That's true.
When I first saw the image in the newspaper, I was like, Dabney Coleman?
Oh, wait a minute. I want to actually... I didn't read that when I was watching the movie, and I kind of wanted... Most decorated and controversial officer.
It outlines his humble beginnings, coming from nothing and achieving so much.
But it doesn't... It seems to be a very positive obituary, even though those videos show his court-martial and all of the crimes that he committed. So I guess they weren't well known.
Yeah. I know bits are like that. You don't usually read people's dirty laundry in their obits.
Fair enough.
It's like that quote from Casablanca. Yesterday they were just 2 German couriers, and today they are the honored dead. It's not... When you read an obituary, it's like, that guy was an asshole.
Yeah, exactly. That's what threw me off. Oh. I like the stars.
This was interesting because they're driving along, and it comes to light later that Gabriel cannot drive. I don't know if that's through edict or...
I think that's hilarious.
Yes.
I
like the idea that they can't work machinery.
But
that's the funniest
it wasn't
thing.
until they pulled over, I was like, oh, this is supposed to be a convertible? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Where's my notes in that? That's his one.
To have been a flying creature and then not be able to travel except by walking.
Christopher walking.
Oh, and I haven't even mentioned. I got a clip every single time they sniff the air. They're always smelling. The sense of smell is very important to angels.
They can smell each other and they can smell death. Or they can smell... Angels can smell other angels, and they can also smell souls or death. That's my understanding.
Oh, if I was a soul, I would hide at the bottom of someone's feet.
Not mine. Don't get into my chucks.
Says FKH.
Well, if you're
That's
hiding...
great.
Yeah, I'd still like a comfortable hiding spot. It is interesting that we are introduced to Mary when she's playing hide and seek, and ultimately Colonel Hawthorne's soul is playing... Well, not playing. He's subject to a game of hide and seek. March 1st, Franco Walker points out, happy birthday for next Friday, Jim.
No, happy birthday.
Yes, happy early birthday. Okay, so that's why next Friday we're going to talk about Star Trek 3. And so there we go. Cynthia Whitbeck in the chat says hello. Hi, Cynthia. Cindy.
Hello.
And yeah, that's right. An angel's one weakness is that they cannot drive a car. And in a time before Uber, this is a great difficulty. I can always smell a graveyard. I love this line. If there was one that I didn't have time to clip the movie like I like to, but that would have been one I would have gotten. Oh, and there's the perching we keep talking about. Pretty great.
One of the continuing the running gags in the film is the as it says here, stop. Stop. You didn't really want to kill yourself. Oh, yeah, I really did. And then he starts crying. And Gabriel is like, stop it. You know I hate that.
Yeah. Yeah, and so apparently Hawthorne's soul will tip the balance to whoever has it. But by the time Gabriel gets to it, Simon's already taken the soul. He took the soul many scenes ago. Yes, Daniel, angels cannot drive cars. Correct. They haven't got a license, says Franco.
Hi, Simon.
Oh, well, they finally meet. And then, well, since Simon's already passed on the soul to the little girl, the writer of this movie decided, oh, well, we don't need Simon anymore. Let's kill him.
Well, I think that shows you can't have a heavenly war without some casualties. And
it's
I think
known as killing the dog in writing. If you're going to establish a villain, somebody's got to die. You've got to set up a character, make the reader or viewer care about them, and then kill them.
Yeah, because I do Simon. He seemed like, all of the angels in this movie are troubled, but he seemed like he was kind of good. Except for, passing on souls into little girls. That's the only bad thing he did.
Sadly, it was with the purpose of, I don't know, saving humanity?
That's unclear.
I'm not. Yeah, please explain
Unclear.
Tiger Stripes. Okay, if it's unclear to you, then okay. I'm glad that it is confusing for everyone else, because I am definitely
Not necessarily confusing, but morally ambiguous. Again, I would say this is sort of a peripheral war movie, and so there are going to be casualties on all sides, and sometimes the things that the participants in the war are morally dubious. It's interesting. It's interesting, and it's unfortunate that Mary had to bear the weight of Colonel Hawthorne's soul, but ultimately it did save humanity.
Well, Christopher Walken's
And
never
heaven.
actually responded to this, but during the shoot of this movie, he was apparently eating raw garlic, but no one ever found out why. Vigo and Virginia Madsen both attest to this.
Staving off the vampires.
It does seem like a kind of a horrible thing to do to your fellow cast members, even if the whole point is to sort of inspire a look of disgust on their face. Then you're sort of implying that they don't have the acting chops to come up with that themselves.
Oh, is that why? Okay, that's an interesting idea.
That's my best guess. When I hear about people being mistreated in film, it's often because the person doing it is trying to prod them into a performance that they don't believe they could give otherwise. And again, it's a real slap in the face to the actor.
I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to be as repulsive as possible, and was his creative way to do it.
It's still really offensive as a peer.
I didn't think about that like that, though. Because I read this information and nothing about it made me even think of that. That makes sense.
And I think Vigo is a really upright guy. I don't believe he would make something like that up if it wasn't true. Well, there's Mary's horrible little
Virginia
drawings.
said it too. Oh yeah, I know the war against the Chinese, and
where'd you get the Virginia Madsen quote on that?
It was
also IMDb.
No, because I don't trust. Well, I started on IMDb, but I don't trust IMDb, so I look externally to it, and then I found it. Someone quoted it saying it was from a verbal interview.
Ah, that's cool.
So yeah, because
they said good for you.
Yeah, it is. Well, yeah, I do tend to. I like to have my secondary sources before I say something is true.
Mm-hmm.
I do that for Star Trek too, because Memory Alpha says something. I'm like, is this real? If they don't have the secondary source, like a certain book or something, I have to find it. Or else I don't mention it at all on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like that one book that changed?
Hey!
How many trees had to die?
That was one mistake. Out of how many live streams? Out of 70,
only takes one.
73 live streams so far. One book made one mistake, and that's that's the one you always cling to.
Yeah. Well, I made a mistake on recommending this. I told everybody it was on Hulu, and then I actually researched that at the time I said it, and I looked online and I checked on my Roku, and they said, oh, Hulu. And then when I went to Hulu to watch it, it turned out it was in Spanish. So I'm sorry, everybody who went to look for it and then it wasn't there.
Oh, well, yeah. I'm sure that if they did want to watch it, they could find it.
It was not an easy film to find free. No, it wasn't. Mm-hmm. Not this time. Not this go round. Sometimes it is, sometimes it ain't.
Yeah, so we see more evidence of Mary being possessed by Hawthorne with her drawings and things she says. Creepy stuff.
She says, I won't even. It's one of my favorite slurs, but I won't say it.
But yeah,
a gentleman from China. And then strike that, reverse it.
She does say that word. You do like to say that word. I forgot that was a thing you do.
Much to my detriment, and I've been trying to reduce it from my vernacular.
Well, she was specifically talking about how Hawthorne would decapitate these people.
Mm-hmm.
And then he further explains how racist he is, Hawthorne, by saying they don't bleed like we do. Or, oh, was it just because it was really cold?
It was really cold then. I looked that up. It was really bad. The guns froze and wouldn't work. Morphine had to be warmed up in the medic's mouth before they could use it. The plasma and the blood supplies were frozen solid. It sounds really bad.
That was one of the things that I was shocked most about the Korean War, is that it was a very cold war. And I mean temperature-wise, not there was actual fighting. But that's something that when I discovered that, I was very curious.
And this soul will eat other dark souls and become their inheritor. Sometimes I'll listen to a line into this movie and I'm like, I don't really know what's happening with this line.
That's the prophecy.
I'm just gonna...
the literal prophecy.
Oh, this is the prophecy. That must be why I took a screen cap of it. Okay, then in that case, it says, and there shall be a dark soul, and this soul will eat other dark souls. So dark souls are eating dark souls, and so become their inheritor. This soul will not rest in an angel, but a man, and he shall be a warrior.
And all of this stuff is pretty much made up for the film. These are not biblical
of
quotes.
Course. Yes. This is the special new chapter at the end of the Bible that apparently exists only in this movie. And
this is a funny line. And I think this is one of the things that engages me with the film, is that there is humor. It is wry, W-R-Y. Yeah. There's something about it, and it's like, when was this man buried? And the not mortician, but the
which time? The great.
Yeah, exactly. Which time? I just had to bury him the same. Something burned up in the school. I guess I gotta bury him too.
Yes. Yeah, I guess that was kind of funny.
And there's his St. Christopher medal.
Yes, this was mentioned earlier in the movie. We forgot to mention.
Yeah, Simon steals it. So, not a perfect angel.
No. None of the angels were particularly holy.
This is war, Peacock.
Apparently. Angels speak in strange ways. They speak like people in biblical times, says Daniel.
Kind of like Chris Angel.
And hello, Albert Blessed connected from Kenya. Thanks for
Wow.
joining us,
All
Albert.
the way from Kenya.
Thank you for the intercontinental love.
And the Outcast Creative says this is such a good movie, very underrated.
I concur.
If I could, if you followed me on Twitter, I could send you a link if you want to be on. But without being connected to you, I can't DM you, Outcast Creative, Lance, because I'm not verified. But anyway, if you do want to connect, I will send the link to you if you want to talk about the movie. Daniel's Hot Topic says, what are those drawings? Is someone having visions of the future and drawing it? No, of the past, Daniel. Of the past war crimes by the soul that's supposed to be inhabited in order to win.
Yes, the little girl
heaven?
has this general's soul inside her, and she is drawing out his previous history in the War of Chosin, or Chosen, the Americans say.
Yeah, I love this by Franco Walker. God declared the seventh day a day of rest.
Then people crowd into churches talking to him.
How annoying on
his day off. Shomer Shabbos. Sorry, I got a little Walter Sobchak in me.
Yeah.
Jill will be back.
That's the one where, people who feel that their relations have gone to heaven then put an obligation on them in heaven to watch over them. And it's like, gee, can't you just give them some nice, happy, relaxing time in heaven? They always have to be watching you.
Well, I forget who tells the joke, but there's a joke talking about the infinite nature of God and how he or they are up in heaven, guiding the celestial ballet, making light glance off of a black hole, trying to ensure that everything... What? Sorry? Hang on a second. Oh, yeah, no, go ahead. Eat. It's fine. Anyway, where was I? So it's like even the prayers are somewhat of an inconvenience for the Lord.
Darius.
You want me to say this one? I can do this one if you want.
Yes, you can. Please.
Darius Munchausen in the chat says, is Scotty R37 talking about Chinaman Jim, who accompanied Huck Fang on the raft down the Yangtze River? The only Yangtze that I'm familiar with is a runabout on Deep Space Nine.
Darius, you're so connected to that one time I had to edit my live stream, but I'm so glad you're here.
Who?
Nobody.
Okay.
Don't read my previous comment aloud or put it on screen. Just chuckle privately. Oops. Why do you, Darius?
Too late, buddy. You need to put that before the comment.
Yeah, you can't say spoilers after.
Yeah, you always say something and then later you're like, don't read this. Hello to Canadian Spider-Man. Thanks for being here with
Canadian Spider-Man.
Speaking of war crimes, I can't wait to get together with Canadian Spider-Man and talk about Vietnam.
Oh, no. Yeah.
We're not going to talk about the war. We're going to talk about Vietnam.
Hopefully, yeah, no, I know. I don't think Agent Orange would be a fun live stream topic.
Boy, Daniel, you're really hung up on this whole Antichrist thing. There's no Antichrist in this movie, Daniel. I'm so sorry.
I know, but it's a real life concern for Daniel, and so I understand Daniel, and I hope things don't turn out that way.
Well, and that's why I was curious about this movie being blasphemous. And so if we are offending anyone, we're merely critiquing. I have to say that I am...
Yes.
I don't know much. Yeah. Like, I don't know much about faith. I have some, but I wouldn't call myself pious by any stretch of the imagination. And so if my words are blasphemous, I can only ask that God forgives me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. And
here we go. Yeah, here's the snuff film.
Yeah, I do respect everybody's religion. This live stream is not intended to. Oh my God! offended.
Hey,
by.
look,
Yeah.
But it
that's
might
violent.
anyway. Yeah, no, gosh. This is a bad moment to promote my channel, I think.
Everybody, like and subscribe.
Well, it's part of the
Well,
film.
at
Hey,
least,
go back one.
At least he gets court-martialed.
On
It's
the
also
18th of February, that just
establishing
passed.
the validity of the value of the MacGuffin.
Yes, agreed.
This is the blackest guy on the planet
Evil
Yeah, so you know how
personified.
evil he
in
is.
terms of souls.
Yes.
Colonel Arnold Hawthorne, and this is court-martial in 1951 in Korea for his crimes against humanity. And a Canadian Spider-Man's here. Hello, Canadian Spider-Man. If we were born in Roman times, we'd all swear that Thor and Zeus were real. 400 years ago in North America, you'd believe in spirits, in trees, and rocks. Just saying.
Well, Thor is Nordic and Zeus is Greek. What's the equivalent for Roman gods?
I got you,
Zeus
Derek.
is Zeus
You're right.
is,
You're right.
Greek, yes.
Yeah.
Jupiter, I guess, was the Roman Zeus.
Oh, that makes sense. Bunch of astronomers.
Spidey says I've not been nearly offensive enough recently. Oh.
I've been told to calm down.
You're doing amazing.
Thank you.
And so, yes, you're right. This is the evidence of his war crimes that were not evident in the obituary.
And then just in case you really need a cherry on that Black Soul Sunday, there you go.
Yeah.
There's
Hey, Colonel
mummified
Hawthorne, do you happen to
faces.
have a box of faces? I do. Would you like to borrow one? I need it back. Don't forget to moisturize.
Moisturize. I've only seen a little bit of Doctor Who, but
Oh, I was going for a
I
Buffalo
was thinking
Bill.
of that. Oh, okay.
See, this is something that I found really interesting, and I'm glad because I was waiting for Daggett and Gabriel and everybody to get together because I love a good protagonist-antagonist meeting, and this just checked all the boxes of them having a conversation and sort of understanding where each one was coming from, or at least the first steps of
This is a wonderful
understanding.
line, too.
Yeah. In terms of the explanation of the divot under your nose.
It's also something I think that is historically a folktale. It's, the guy didn't actually create it. It's out there. That, the angel of death puts its finger on your lip when before you're born, or
Tells you a secret and then says shush.
and that's sort of your lifespan.
And that's how he got a dent on his lip.
That's how we all have one.
Mm-hmm. That's why some people grow mustaches, so they hide the fact that they were never told the secret. That's a guess. I made that up. But you'll notice that Colonel Hawthorne, mustachioed man.
Oh, Darius says Christopher Walken is number 5. What is he counting? Hold on. I need to figure out what
Roman
Darius is
gods.
counting.
Darius Munchausen preceded that by saying that Ishtar was his third favorite Roman god. Marduk, I'm not familiar with Marduk, is number 4, and Christopher Walken is his fifth weapon of choice.
He's chopping at poor Canadian Spider-Man. You can stop.
He's having
now,
fun.
Darius. You can
He's
stop
having
now.
fun.
5 is too many.
Jill, I think I followed you, no? Well, I did. Well, will do. Sorry, I thought I had. We need to sort out the date for Cocoon. Yeah, that's right. And no, yeah, we're not following each other yet. And now we are. Very good. Okay, so I will send you this link if you want. You don't have to, but if you have a moment and you'd like to join us, you're definitely welcome.
Interestingly enough, that is a movie that is on my list. And also, I think this is the first time in 20 years that anyone has been excited about Cocoon.
I concur.
I haven't
does have
seen
a
it, so
great
I don't know.
cast. It does have a wonderful cast, Cocoon.
But I'm going to see
Yes,
it
it
for
does.
Lance. Canadian men can handle a little ball busting between bros.
True
It
story.
grows wearisome for me.
You don't have to tell Tigers twice. She tires of the Canadians from time to time. Maybe just this one.
No, I tire of the ball busting.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Yes, that's the thing I tire of.
Well, there's no problem with being gracious, and sometimes it's nice to be nice. Thunderclap. Thunderclap. Thunderclap.
Because
oh!
I did
Wherever
like the
you go.
cinematography of this film. For such a small, modest film, it's got really good transitions.
And practical on locations. The cast is all fantastic. I agree. I concur.
Considering, this is his first director thing, you do see certain moments where you're like, yeah, that's a cool shot. This is a particularly good one where people are blowing
Gabriel's horn.
Of
destruction.
Which, well, right, isn't that supposed to bring about the end of the world?
I believe so, yes.
Yes. Now this,
I don't know if it brings about the end of the world, but the walls will come tumbling down.
It heralds it. It's interesting. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Red State by Kevin Smith, and it talks about a religious cult. But the original ending of that was supposed to be a blast of Gabriel's horn.
The original ending of what?
Red State. It's a Michael Parks, John Goodman film, directed by Kevin Smith in the 2000s, and it's about religion. And religious cults, and at the end of it, it was supposed to herald. There was supposed to be a deafening sound of Gabriel's trumpet, his horns, and then the four horsemen of the apocalypse come. And now that I think of it, I'm sorry, it's interesting that there is no reference to the four horsemen of the apocalypse here. As you mentioned before, Tiger, this is it does borrow a lot from Gaiman's.
Now, this is about the war in heaven. It's not really about the end of the world.
But this is true. This is true. But it would create two hells, which I'm sure wouldn't be good for humanity.
Well, it would make a hell out of heaven, I think. Yes.
And we already have one hell of a heaven.
Yes. Or one hell of a hell.
I'd rather laugh with the sinners than cry with the saints. The sinners are much more fun. Only the good die young.
I've heard that, but I don't want to try it out personally. There are already people I may have to walk into hell to bring out, and I'm not looking forward to it.
Have you ever seen What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams?
I have.
I love that movie.
That's because it was written by, oh God, I should know. He goes way back, all the way back to Twilight Zone. Wonderful, wonderful writer. I'm going to have to look it up. It's not coming.
Is it Richard Matheson?
Writer. It is Richard Matheson, yes.
Nice.
Well, since this channel is named Anti-Derivative Jill, I need to make sure to remember to recite this quote from the movie by Gabriel.
Indeed. Yes.
See you kids, study your math. Key to the universe.
But he says it with derision.
Yeah.
He does give an eye roll at
but I
the
believe
end.
it. So he wasn't being serious.
No.
And
it's hard to say.
Well, and I do like how Catherine, Virginia Madsen's character, comes up and says, I don't know what's going on here, but you have to go. And then Gabriel walks up to her and says, that's right. You don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, that was good. Also, Scotty, have you seen Defending Your Life?
Albert Brooks, I haven't.
Yes.
I want to.
Also about what really happens to you after you die.
No, that's a good call. I'm going to write that down right now. I do have to see that. That's something that I've heard is one of Albert Brooks's best.
It is. It's super.
But yeah, not only is she possessed by this guy, but it's painful. It's not doesn't feel too good.
Yeah, she's throwing up all over the place.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that would be pretty horrible for a child. It would be horrible for anybody.
Well, it's also interesting that you don't necessarily have to be possessed by the devil or a demon. You can be possessed by an angel. They can put forth the machinations of your possession.
And here's a logic issue, although I know it's just part of the movie. The relationship between Catherine and Mary is unusually close for a teacher-student. I guess she could just be one of her favorite students, teacher's pet or something. Or maybe it's that the res is so small that she really does know where everyone lives, because she does have a very small class.
There's a certain thing where teachers do see their students as their children, but you're right, this feels more like a mother-daughter kind of thing rather than just a teacher-student kind of care.
It does.
She is kind of like a low-rent Sarah Connor. She doesn't have much of a character except her job. She is just a caretaker.
Yeah, she's just there to make a commentary on what's happening.
I hate to say it, it's true.
She does the best with a non-character. Like, she's obviously fulfilling a plot point.
Oh, why do people have these odd things on their lips in this movie? Okay, so yes, I do. If you see anything weird on the screen that you notice, it might be Eric's. Eric's is
could be her.
My protector. He protects my live stream from copyright claims, because I've been getting copyright claims if I don't put watermarks.
And what is that
and
image
with the
from?
Watermarks. And Eric's is from Star Trek, the animated series.
Ah.
And if you're a subscriber to Antiderivative Jill's channel, check out the emojis. Eric's is one of those emojis. Shoot us some Eric's.
He has multiple legs.
And multiple arms. With hands. He plays a mean lute.
Yeah,
or mandolin.
He's a navigator. He's a navigator on Star Trek.
Yes.
The animated series. And yeah, he plays, I don't know what that is. Yeah, it's some kind of stringed instrument.
He's fancy Chekhov.
Fancy Chekhov, yeah. Chekhov when you can't get a Chekhov. I mean, he always has this little smile on, and I don't think he's actually smiling. I think it's just his face, but it just always makes him seem pleasant.
Yes, he is the extraterrestrial Mona Lisa.
Did Gabriel make that kid blow on his horn? That sounds dirty. Yeah. Well, the reason he was doing that, I forgot to mention, he was doing that to see if the soul was which child had the soul in them, because he knew that it was probably in one of the kids.
But it is something that I sort of associate with Gabriel, because it is, his sidearm.
He's famous for having a horn.
Exactly, and I thought that was nice that they brought it into it without paying too much attention to it or making it cliched.
Mm-hmm. And as a Letterkenny fan, I have noticed that they use the word horn as a euphemism, and that's not something that we do really here in America, that particular word.
Well, I'm a bad Canadian. I've never seen Letterkenny. How do they use it as a euphemism?
What do you think? What do you think I mean?
I don't know. I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
They use it as a euphemism for dick.
Oh.
Yes.
That's weird. That's not how blowjobs work.
Maybe it's a particular
Yeah.
It's a special kind of person who does it that way.
Yeah, that's not going to do it very much.
Just purse your lips upon the tip and... Well, this is the worst town I've ever been to. Thanks. I'm leaving.
Canadian smart.
And I didn't bring it up this time, so you can't yell at me. No, it's not my fault, Tiger. It is not my fault.
Why don't you trade Scotty's in my icon, so he can be invisible for a while. I would like that.
No, I'll go. I gotta go pee.
No,
anyway.
No, you're okay.
No,
You're
just
okay,
like
Scotty.
that. Yeah, you can take a
guys,
turn. You can take a turn on the bottom, Scotty.
I'm just I find things humorous and I laugh. I'm sorry, guys.
You are
Canadian
allowed
Spider-Man
to find things
says-
humorous and laugh.
I thought so.
It did take a nasty turn, this conversation, though.
It was okay. It's okay. No, but
All right.
I understand.
We're all grown-ups here.
We are. I'm just gonna giggle about it like I'm not. Spidey says, I sure don't want to be in heaven with the religious folks. My friends are gonna be in hell anyway. I figure we'll have a hoot.
I have heard people say that before, but I don't think that's how it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All the same fiction to Spidey, yeah. I don't pay attention to which gods are celebrated by which people. There are thousands of competent religions on planet Earth. That is true. Oh, okay. Yeah, whenever you feel comfortable coming on or not, it's all up to you. Thank you, Lance. I'm glad you're here in the chat. And Gabriel's horn is a great Calculus 2 topic. Oh, hey, okay. Yeah, thank you. And thank you to Eri Bavel. For that. Yeah, I would like to check that out. That sounds like fun. And I took calculus too, but we didn't cover it. Scotty R37 really knows. Okay, there we go. Maybe it was a running in joke from an early letter Kenny sketch. Oh, all right.
No, I really get the impression that it's slang. It's, you know, something that they use in Canada.
For sure. Okay, so Tiger Stripes, could you explain to me who wrote all this script all over the cave walls? Like, was this Gabriel and
that is
Jerry?
A good question. That is a good
Or are they
one.
just...
Why would anybody feel the need to write all of this history in angelic script when you can just stare into the portal and view the history with your eyes? I don't know. I thought it was very neat that it was all over the ceiling, as if somebody were flying to write it. But again, they can't fly.
Yeah.
So there's another logic hole. Yeah.
Okay, I was hoping. Okay, so thank you.
Yes, I have no explanation for this other than that it looks really cool, man.
Oh, it does look really cool, man. Well,
Yes.
yeah, that's this entire scene. It looks really cool, man. Because then we get a crazy.
Is this whole cave sort of a source of power? It appears to be a really unusual place. Honestly, my first thought when they walked in was, well, it's like Twitter. It's a hellmouth. But
So maybe it's like a portal.
That's my gut. That's what I'm going to go with.
Because I don't get a lot of clips from this one because it's kind of disgusting. But I get a little bit.
The battle, the war in hell, the first war in hell.
Yeah, so this is somebody who's impaled, who's just impaled themselves, and so I'm not precisely getting. But there's everybody who's been impaled. So I guess this is more of an
all
artwork.
them wings.
Yeah. So I guess that is representative of the battle and how battles have stakes.
Literal stakes. All the way through the body.
Yeah, and so I guess that's a metaphor for something. I really don't know what's in the writer's head for this.
Sometimes
movie.
I see images like this and they remind me so powerfully of other films that I have to wonder if they were, inspirational.
Yeah.
Like Bram Stoker's Dracula came before this film. And, and there's an image in that, very similar with, early in the film with all of the impaled bodies. And so, yeah, I just kind of wonder sometimes, did somebody just think, oh, that's very cool, and I'm going to grab that image and run with it?
Mhm. And that's what happened in this movie anyway. And we're getting to the point where finally Gabriel's caught up with Mary, and the only way to take her soul out, to take Hawthorne's soul out, is to destroy her soul. So that's not good for Mary. But
No.
Here's another logical inconsistency that I have here. They have this big battle here where everybody's fighting against Gabriel, and they're capable of getting away with Mary and everything. How come Gabriel doesn't use his ability to shush everybody to sleep?
Good call. Yes, he should just be able to knock him right out.
Like,
with a snap of his fingers.
I know that wouldn't be as interesting of a scene, but they should have to show how they have to disable his ability to do that somehow.
So the movie can happen.
And I know the movie's got to happen, but there's got to be a way to fight an angel and like limit their powers or something.
I mean, and they're both talking to him at the time. Maybe he's distracted. Maybe.
Oh yeah, maybe he just wants to hear what they have to say. That's his ego is coming through.
It's like the Bond villain who it's not enough for him to kill James Bond. He has to say, "I'm going to kill you, Mr. Bond." Maybe it's just sort of part of that sadistic thrill.
Mm-hmm. I guess so, and that's his downfall here because they're able to escape, fortunately.
And they do him some damage, which appears to be lasting in the context of the film. Oh, and there's a great stunt. I love stunts. I love watching the stuntmen doing their thing. Going through a little window like that full bore, launching yourself through, not an easy thing to do.
Oh, that's her main moment in the movie. You can't have her.
Mm-hmm. Good explosion too.
And there's great. There's really kind of funny dialogue in this movie, like you say. I think it is pretty funny. And so if you haven't seen this movie, it's good for Christopher Walken's performance. And I'm just glad the little girl doesn't get kissed again.
Yes. But again, it wasn't really a kiss. It was an exchanging of souls.
Right. In the context of the movie, but performance-wise, it is.
Well, it's
kind of.
It's like the opposite of the kiss of life, in a way.
Right. It's like if she had gotten resuscitated.
Yeah, I saw.
I guess it is similar to that.
Series of historical photos the other day, and that I think were put together by an AI. One of them was a really famous picture. There was an electrician who was on top of a pole and had touched a bad wire. And there's another one right next to him. They're both fully outfitted with the belts and the helmets, and he's giving him the kiss of life. And he did manage to save his life, until they can get him down off the pole. But he kept that man alive. But, seeing the image of the two of them on the top of the pole, it is strangely intimate. And anytime people touch their mouths, no matter what they're doing it for. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, and then her planning the defense like a military man.
Yeah.
She's good. She's good.
She is. She's good at delivering these lines and making them sound eerie.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Did they say how long this war in heaven has been or when it started? Yeah, they did. They did say how long. It's been going on for thousands of years.
Well, I think the initial war was the one where Lucifer was cast down.
Yes.
And he definitely had beings or angels on his side who were also cast down. So that was the first war. And in the context of this movie, which is just fictional, it's just a story, they're saying that the war never really quite ended, that the battle is for heaven.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and since it hasn't ended, people can't go to heaven in this movie. But Gabriel lost his well, you don't call him a zombie, but I kind of, just for ease,
well, you
I
can
kind
use
of
the
call
word
him Jerry. Jerry was happily killed. He was so happy. I forgot to mention just how ecstatic he was at being gone. He was like,
yes.
I don't know if he exactly said thank you, but he was very grateful. And
I think didn't he say you're a champ or you're a mensch, something like that?
Something like that, yeah. Something complimentary. And so, as a replacement, Gabriel is bringing back to life Rachel, played by Amanda Plummer.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, daughter of Christopher.
Oh, and Vigo.
And Vigo, yes, finally we
this
get.
This is the
Vigo,
best part of the film for me, really.
Right. For sure. Agreed. Well, I found a quote from Viggo Mortensen on his website, and I just want to say a little bit of my life is brighter today because he also likes Comic Sans. He uses it on his website. I don't know if I'd be brave enough to use it on a website, but anyway,
I'm surprised Vigo has a website.
Yeah, he does.
And who is that guy? That's the one thing I want to know. Go back to that guy.
I don't know. It's kind of like
yes.
I don't know.
Does he have an eye patch?
I feel like he's just like a demon. Like he's just like a little dancing demon. He's just missing his little pitchfork and his little tail, and he's not dancing around. I don't know who he is either.
It's frustrating that that's not made clear.
No, it's not. This whole movie is kind of frustrating, but it's interesting to talk about. But anyway, I wanted to say
it is interesting to talk about, theologically. But I just really feel so strongly that he should have a purpose and a name, and there should be some explanation as to why this guy, why the eye patch. That's just, yes.
So Vigo says, Lucifer, that was fun but difficult because the truth is that I couldn't prepare the role the way that I usually do. Going to Lucifer's house or meeting him or meeting his family. But I think we all have a dark side, and I had to think a little bit about that.
Well, I'm very jealous that you found his website. I'll have to go look for it and see if I think it's really him.
Oh yeah, it might not have been written by him. I don't know. Yeah. It could just be a fan
site. Still, if they've got the good quotes and all the good stuff, that's great.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll send it to you later.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So anyway, I really like him as Lucifer too.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a different kind of Lucifer also because the author of this film, he says Lucifer started off as a good guy in the Bible. He was the best angel, and along the way he began seeing things in a way that became incompatible with staying with God, and it was almost a heartbreaking falling out. Gabriel is doing the same thing in many ways where he doesn't think he's doing anything wrong. He thinks he's right and everybody else is wrong. He doesn't want to be king. He doesn't want to rule in heaven. He's not trying to overthrow God. He just thinks there's a fundamental wrong going on. He just sees it as wrong. Ultimately, that's how Lucifer fell too. He wasn't trying to undo God. He just disagreed. Lucifer's a much more tragic figure in this movie. He's more like a guy who lost the love of his life and is still a really bad guy, but is still kind of a sorrowful guy too. But he's there to help the humans because it's simply not in his interests for Gabriel to win. And so that's
it brings me.
That's what the author of this movie says about Lucifer.
It brings me back to Dogma, where even like Rufus, the 13th apostle, says to the Metatron, it's like, do you think this is Lucifer? And the Metatron says, no, Lucifer has just as much to lose as God. This has nothing. This isn't Lucifer's battle. And I do enjoy, like, Paradise Lost is such an interesting epic poem. And I read part of it when Seven came out. And that's when I got into my theological fiction sort of rabbit hole. And I enjoy all of these characters as characters with their own motivations. And if you look into the scriptures and find out what their roles are in heaven, it's very interesting. Like Lucifer is being punished, accepts his punishment under the edict of God. Very upset, but thank heavens he has his own corner of the netherworld.
Yeah, he knows his place, and he seems to be happy with it. And so he doesn't seem like
I wouldn't say happy.
He's not happy. Okay, you're right. He's not happy, but I don't know. He doesn't seem to be fighting for dominance here. He's
even open on Christmas. He's like 7-11.
I don't know, man. He does seem happy to me. If he wasn't happy, wouldn't he be taking advantage of this situation?
Well, no, it's interesting because at the end of the film, spoilers for the prophecy,
Well, we're going to get to the ending when
we will get to the end. You're right.
Well, we are.
I mean, right now we kind of need to talk about this point.
Let's do this.
I've read in some comments, of all things, a really fascinating analogy to Paradise Lost that ties in with this, that said there's a section of Paradise Lost that describes heaven as a giant flower, and all the souls are the petals and the angels are sort of bees buzzing around, and God is the very heart, the very center of it.
Oh, is that why he eats a flower?
I'm just saying it was a really incredible analogy that this person made, not me. And I haven't read Paradise Lost, but it was pretty fascinating, and it made me wonder if Vigo had thought that through himself, or if the writer, the writer-director had thought that through himself, because it's,
Well, he has no business having a yellow rose.
I had no idea where that came from, why he decided to eat a rose. Here it is.
Yes.
But it is very
materialized out of nowhere, but then perhaps he's capable of doing that.
And he does sort of, he loves me not. And then finally when he loves me not, it's like, well then fine, I'll eat it. He will love me.
I don't know. This movie makes the devil seem cute and happy to me.
Oh really? I don't get that.
I don't think that he's a pleasant person. I'm not attracted.
Again, I don't know where I first heard this, but it was probably again Neil Gaiman that the agony of the devil is that he was God's best beloved. Mm-hmm. God's second in command, right next to God, and so to be out of the presence of God is agony.
Yes.
Forget about hell. Just having been in that joy and light for part of your existence, and then being removed from it, you feel that all the time.
I guess maybe the not cute part is I can lay you out and fill you with your mother's feces.
Yes.
So I guess that's not cute.
No,
that sounds like a Satan thing.
That's pretty nasty.
That's
quite a threat.
AFS 1970 in the chat says that Rumble stream is not working.
Oh no. Okay. I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, no.
I blame Gabriel. If I had a Rumble account, I would go and check and troubleshoot for you, but I do not have a Rumble account.
I don't know what's going on with that. Streams. Oh no. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening. Dang it. I don't know.
Amanda Plummer. I know you guys probably mentioned her resurrection, but it is a pleasure to see Honey Bunny.
Oh, this is a funny.
I love Madge. Love this actress.
She is Honey Bunny from Pulp Fiction for sure.
Yes, anytime you see Amanda Plummer in a diner, you can't help but think of that scene. So,
you know what? I love Amanda Plummer, and 90% of that has to do with So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Hold on just a second. I'm checking out. What's the problem?
You
with this
wouldn't
live stream?
be able to be a bit more specific about that. See, I told you. I'm a terrible Vulcan.
We all should take a stab at it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got a fever. The only thing. Cowbell. AFS 1970 in the chat says, demons don't like free speech. This is true. And the Outcasts Creative says, Vigo looks older here than in Lord of the Rings. How do you feel, Tiger?
Makeup.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, that's the art of makeup. You can paint anybody's face on anybody if you're really good at makeup.
Well, and not only that, but
he's supposed to be Satan, so he should be there should be something a little off. They do say that he can assume a pleasant appearance, but I think there should be something off. You should smell something wrong.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I dropped out because I was messing around with Rumble, and I think it got working. I got it working.
Oh, good.
So for our Rumble viewers, I apologize. I didn't realize it wasn't working. I don't know what I did to
Rumble.
get it working.
I had no idea we were on Rumble.
All right, Rumblers, let's get rumbling.
and if you guys are on Rumble, you completely missed the first portion of the show in which we have been talking about the movie The Prophecy, in which angels are at war with each other because God is checked out. And so
God is not checked out. Why are you blaming God?
I'm not blaming God, but I mean, it's like he's not. Shouldn't he care about what's happening in heaven? He
does.
Free will.
He knows or she knows.
Yeah, but
the
free
outcome.
will applies to mortals. Why does it apply also to the angels? Like he doesn't communicate with the angels at all either.
Who created the angels?
That's a good question.
Well, you want to know the answer?
Anyway.
You don't need my permission to say what you want to say, Scotty.
God.
Are you sure of that?
Pretty sure. In the beginning, there was nothing.
It's not mentioned in the creation. It's not mentioned in Genesis.
It works for me in terms of the context of this movie. Like, fictionally in the fantasy of this film, I can buy that.
Yes, you have to accept that God created everything. So God created angels.
Yes.
But also, the battle for the throne of the kingdom of heaven is pre-existence. Like Eden didn't exist when heaven and did heaven exist before? Did the kingdom of heaven exist? Did God exist before existence? And I don't know the answer to that.
I believe God is eternal. That's one of the presuppositions you have to sort of go with God on. Mm-hmm. God is eternal. There's no beginning, there's no end.
Can't argue. Alpha and Omega.
And so Rachel wants nothing more but to just be totally done with her life. But
do you want to bring back the slides?
Yeah, I do. Hey.
Yes?
I have to welcome to the panel Lance from the Outcast Creative. Thank you so much for joining us here near the end of this movie.
Hey, I thought you were in the flow there, and I was also writing a scene for this horror script that I've been working on forever. So I thought I'd get that scene finished before I came in.
Oh,
well, Lance, now that you're here, Lance, I gotta say, I'm a big Jack Death fan. Rules. You rule.
Cool, man. That I don't know if you've seen it, but I've got a 2.5 hour interview with Tim Thomason on my channel.
Oh man. Oh, you got to throw your channel link in the private chat, and I'll shoot it up into the public.
Yeah, and then if you want to find that interview, just go to my playlists and go to industry interviews.
Oh wow!
And he is. I have to remember. There's 54 of them. I think his interview is number 30 something. I think. And I just had Ron Underwood on, the director of Tremors.
Nice.
Yeah, but I had a surprise guest on that stream as well, and the surprise guest was Gail Ann Hurd, producer of Terminator, Terminator 2, Aliens, The Abyss, and I'm hoping to get her back for a 1-to-1. So,
well, it's nice. It's nice to have a qualified individual have a conversation about this particular gem.
This is a great film. This came out in only on video in the UK. And it was like one of those films that sort of loads of people didn't even see when it came out on video, and gradually people would kind of tell each other about it. And but what a cast, you know, when you look at the cast for this movie. I mean, Viggo Mortensen, Elias Koteas, Virginia Madsen, Eric Stoltz, Amanda Plummer. These are all like people at the top of their game, you know.
I do want to make sure that I don't miss saying hello to Booger 414 and the Ginger Menace. They are the fallen angels, the ones that went with Lucifer. Yes.
I've seen the Ginger Menace on another chat stream somewhere. I remember that name.
Oh yeah, she's everywhere. If you've ever been on Overlord DVD's channel, she is the top ranch over there, but she's been around.
Yeah.
And the stream. Okay, so I had to fix my Rumble, and so I'm just checking to see what we had here. Kind of twisted if you face God and you're a good person, but for whatever reason you may not care, and you may have different ideas. And there you go. And yeah, this movie does have really great actors, and that's what the director was hinging this movie on, was the acting.
I'm sure the writers of Bad Omens must have watched this movie.
Well, we were referencing Neil Gaiman, not necessarily Neil Pratchett, or sorry, the Pratchett boy. What's his
Terry
name?
Pratchett.
That's him.
Pratchett and Gaiman. But yeah, the scene where she's sitting at the counter, that's she seems to be recollecting just what was happening to her shortly after she died. You know, she's sort of relearning how to speak or something and spitting it out and mumbling. And I'm like, interesting.
Well, it just seems like a state of trauma, because she thought it was going to be all over, and it was her ending was ripped away from her, or her ending, as so she perceived it.
But she does
terrifyingly
she does seem to be heading to heaven, and you know, canon would say that if you off yourself, you're not heading to heaven.
So, but I'm not sure that she was trying to end her life, because she was in the ICU. Why was she in the ICU? Did they ever say?
You know,
no.
I feel like the version of this film that I saw was chopped, was truncated. I saw it on a streaming service, and I think it was edited.
Do you think we're missing some dialogue?
I think I am. I don't think you are, but I think that I
Yeah,
was.
there's been different edits of this movie that have been broadcast. I know it was edited for TV, but I mean, I can't speak for American screenings, but that's highly probable. I would think.
Oh. And yeah, so Gabriel's taking his Rachel's driving him to the reservation, or wait, what is it? A little village?
Yes, the Butte
Navajo
Top village
reservation,
which I heard got blown off by high winds.
Yeah, that was an interesting
filming.
thing. I do have the story on that. So
nice move, beautifully done.
Oh yeah, every line that he gives is just amazing.
The charisma, it's bigger than both of us.
You're not pausing
but they're
enough.
here. They're here on the Navajo village to get the soul out of that little girl. So the priests here are trying to figure out how to release her disconnect her spirit without hurting her, like the way that Gabriel would rip her soul apart his way would be more violent. Apparently.
Well, if anything, if this movie has taught me anything, if you want to kill an angel, the primary weapon is a car.
Right. They can't drive, and they also don't know how to get out of the way of the car either.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be weapon of choice?
Yeah. You can go with this, or you can go with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's the story about the wind and stuff. I think this one was from the Cinefantastique magazine. In eerie fashion, the production had its own run with evil spirits while filming in Arizona. On the day of filming, filming was to occur on an Indian village set. Jones, a medicine man employed as a stuntman, I got his name wrong in here. I don't know what it is. Warned producers that 2 bad omens, the sighting of a coyote and an owl, had occurred, and he had misgivings about continuing production. A storm with 120-mile-per-hour winds and lightning subsequently blew in, destroying the set. We had built an Indian village off a cliff, and it blew away in one night, remembered Whidden. We had a hellacious storm. It was foretold by a medicine man because we had accidentally killed an owl with one of our trucks. Despite the bad omen-induced weather, the 2-month production went smoothly. I had a great time, said Whidden, who makes his feature directorial debut. His previous directing credit is a Tales from the Crypt segment entitled Halfway Horrible. I had really great actors, which is half your job. If you have great actors, the most important thing is to get out of the way. I definitely had Christopher Walken in mind when I wrote this. He was the first one I signed on. Walken is an incredibly gifted actor. He gives you exactly what you want, and he has a certain ethereal quality about him that works really well with this. And the otherworldly quality helps you believe he's not quite up here. I thought that worked well for him.
This is like one of the best Christopher Walken performances that most people have never seen. Because there's so many people that haven't ever seen this film, you know.
I would have never watched this movie if Tiger Stripes hadn't recommended it.
Well, and it's funny because this has been on my list for decades. The girl that I lost my virginity to told me to watch this, and I never did.
How can you go wrong with advice like that?
Well, I've slept with people who said that The Deer Hunter was their favorite film, and then after the fact, I was like, that makes sense. So,
what do you know about that, you monkey?
I feel like that statement needs more qualification, but probably down the pub rather than on this live stream.
Freedom isn't free; it's cost.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right, Lance. I just wanted to quote from the movie because it just came up and it seemed to fit a fitting response to what Scotty was saying. But the war, so the whole movie is about the angels being jealous of humanity and God's placement of them.
Well, and this is a battle of faith as well, which is the advice that Lucifer gave. And he says,
right,
make him doubt.
Yeah, like question why he hasn't tried to communicate. And that does stop him for a bit. So it does stall him mostly before the battle and the destruction. I'm getting so fed up with you.
If I wore a black suit, white shirt, bloodied, and then carried a trumpet around, would people understand that I was Gabriel?
No.
For Halloween, I mean.
Oh, for Halloween.
If you had the hair, sure.
That'd be a wig.
Yeah,
you'd have to really hard to. It's hard to play an angel without the wings.
Oh no! All you need is a trench coat. I've been Bartleby.
Mm-hmm. Did people know who you were?
That's not my problem. I knew who I was.
Oh, then what's the concern
when you postulate, would people know who I was? Then you do have a problem. You've already established.
I have 7.
Yeah, you did. He did establish that it was. He established that was a concern, and then it wasn't a concern.
Yes. The dialect of hell.
I wonder if the script, the images that are used as language, I wonder if those are real, because they do say Jill will be back shortly. But I'm just curious if those are real images, real runes. I don't want to say rune; it sounds derivative or rude.
Your war
She's
is
back, everybody.
arrogance
Don't
that
worry.
makes it evil. That's an interesting quote.
Jill is back?
I am. I'm just
Hey.
bringing back the slides.
Babu.
I apologize for that. But we're closing in on the end of this movie, and
Yeah. We already hit him
this
with a
is the
car. We
part-
shot him.
we hit him.
Yeah, did I miss
we hit him with
the
car, we shot
part
him.
where Daggett and Lucifer have their dialogue?
Yes.
Yes.
Dang
Did
it.
you?
Yeah, that's
Well, but
exact-
if you have notes on that, please let us know. Like, I want to know
No, I
everything
just
you
loved
want to
it. The
say.
bit about being under the bed was just super.
Oh,
That was
right.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
thought
so
I was
disturbing.
under the bed. Guess what? I was.
Yes. So,
I was.
can Lucifer be everywhere? You know, the same way that God is. That's a disturbing concept.
It
Lucy
is. That's
is in the
that's what I
sky
thought too.
with diamonds.
Well, he is a liar, so
It's true too. You could just, yeah, right. It could just be a tactic of intimidation.
No, I reckon I'm going to be able to get Gregory on for an interview.
That'll be
Who wrote and
fantastic.
directed this?
Man, I'm subscribed. I can't wait. I'm
'Cause I
excited for your.
I can see that me and him know some of the same people.
your
So
war is arrogance that makes it evil.
I reckon
That's
I
an
can.
interesting coming from Lucifer.
Oh, I thought Tiger Stripes was talking about me. Then I wasn't saying
Perhaps
that
I
to
am.
brag.
I don't know. Maybe there's a confidence there.
No,
Hey,
oh, well,
that would be a really
it's
cool.
nice to
that
meet
would
you
be a
anyway.
really cool.
Sorry, yeah, we
Nice to
haven't
meet you too.
Yes. Yes, Tiger Stripes, Sweet Lance from the Outcast Creative.
So I should
Yeah, that
probably
would be cool.
I should probably explain I've been working in the industry since the 90s. So yeah, so I know a lot of people, and that's why I try to get people on from the inside, as it were.
Yeah, I had a lot of thoughts about the writer and director of this movie. It would have been much cooler if he were here to answer my questions. So that is a great idea for the live
Well, if
show.
I can
We have
if I can get him, Jill, you can
Yeah.
because I wouldn't have thought of it if I hadn't popped on this stream. So if I can get him, you can be my co-host on that. Then you
This
can
is
ask
an
him.
interesting choice in terms of the exorcism. They do make something with Mary where her head gets. It's almost like it's an
imploding.
expulsion.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
but
definitely
there's a
an
prosthetic.
effect. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
prosthetic. And is that necessary? That's a good question.
I don't know, especially with the
either.
light show.
Yeah, it's very sort of exorcistish, isn't it?
Yes, but I like how, it's basically they're talking about the Bible and Christianity and stuff, but the evil soul is expelled through the use of Navajo religion. And so I think that's cool.
Well, and it was an interesting
there's
dichotomy.
also-
Good is
I
good.
was
There's also
curious about it because we do have obvious Christian Catholicism going on in terms of angels and Lucifer and God, but it is the protection of humans to do a more earthen based spirituality, a connection between all things, and making that Native American. I thought that was an interesting juxtaposition.
Well, the light is definitely a hand of God moment.
Just shut your eyes, Marion. Don't look at it.
An interesting thing, too.
Well, supposedly, the devil promised that the conclusion of this would open up heaven to humans again. And so was that the opening up of it again?
That was also something that I thought that was different between Gabriel and Lucifer, is that when Gabriel kills Simon, he removes the heart, which through the lore of this film is the only way that you can kill an angel. But Gabriel doesn't eat Simon's heart. Lucifer eats it like an apple. I thought that that was an interesting juxtaposition, because even though Gabriel's our bad guy, Lucifer is worse.
That I love you more than Jesus is truly blasphemous. That's a real goosebump moment for me.
Well, Lance, do you find this movie to be blasphemous?
I'm not what you would call a massively religious guy. I'm more of a. When people ask me if I'm religious, I tell them I'm spiritual, but I don't hold an affinity to any particular religion. So I'm less likely to find it offensive than somebody who, has embraced a certain faith. But I think it treads a pretty good line with that, because the images, the characters, and the stuff that it imbues into the narrative all comes from a place of truth, or is lifted from different passages of the Bible and stuff like that, which I am familiar with. So it sort of comes back to that, hey, if you believe in good, then, if you believe in God, you've got to believe in the devil. So you can't have good without evil. So no, I don't think it's blasphemous. I don't think my opinion counts for much in that respect. But
but I think you're right, because Satan, I mean, if he's blasphemous, that kind of makes sense.
Well, Jill, also, when you say that this then opens the doors to all the people to heaven, well, you have to consider the source of that information, and the source was Lucifer.
And so it's possibly not
you can't
true,
trust that
but
guy.
No, you can't. You really can't. So I don't know. I haven't seen the rest of these movies to see what's going on with the
I've only
heaven in it.
I've only seen one of the sequels. I think the second one, which also has Chris Walken. Tiger mentioned a film earlier called Defending Your Life, which I absolutely love that movie, by the way. And Brooks, who created it, has a really funny line about the devil not in that film, in a film called Broadcast News with Holly Hunter. Yeah, and he has a line where he says, do you think when the devil turns up, he's going to have horns and a big spiky tail? No, he's going to look like one of us. He's going to look like a good guy. He's going to pretend to be something else. And I always remembered that line.
And that makes sense. Because the devil's supposed to be alluring, and you're supposed to be taken in by him.
Yeah, they're supposed to be deceptive, aren't they? That's the whole point. So you're not supposed to know that they're a bad guy. There's a storyline in Deep Space Nine that covers that really well, with the Bajoran woman who gets kind of taken in, and she thinks she's following a good god, and it turns out she's completely turned to evil.
She was already evil, but she
more
evil.
Talking about,
Kai Wynn.
Kai Wynn, a very great character, though, isn't she?
Character.
It kind of harkens back to that Twilight Zone episode that's sort of based around the saying, "If there are no dogs in heaven, I want to go where they go."
Well, okay, but how come? Why does the devil just turn into birds?
Yes, I saw something that said they were supposed to be ravens, but those are pigeons. Those are pretty clearly pigeons.
Come on, we got a budget.
That is a good question. It doesn't quite feel right, does it?
The only thing that makes sense about it is how everyone's perching in this movie. So it's a symbology of them being angels and maybe still sort of having wings.
Well, and does no one care about the imp that is left as a gargoyle? And it's like, can I get a lift? What's going on, Lucifer?
Right.
Can I come with? What's
Why
going on?
doesn't
Well, we
Why
were
does he
discussing while
turn-
you were gone who the heck that's supposed to be, Scotty. You weren't privy to that conversation.
I don't know.
We can't for the life of us decide who that guy is. He should be
Okay.
somebody, though.
I have an idea. Okay, I don't know. Did you, and Good Omens, again, bringing it back to Good Omens, who is the antagonist who brings Azathoth down to hell again, the Lord of Flies? It isn't Lucifer. Maybe that's Beelzebub. Because Beelzebub and Lucifer and Satan, they are not synonymous. They are different people.
No? I thought they were all the same.
It's somebody, though, who sort of clearly follows Lucifer around very closely. Who's
Yes, that is the Salacious Crumb of Lucifer.
Oh, and this is
Salacious
the
Crumb is Jabba the Hutt's
other
little
logic hole
monkey.
for me in this film is when did the two of them form some sort of quasi-romantic relationship?
They didn't.
There
was
they
nothing.
They never had. They needed a moment. It didn't have to be much of a moment, but they needed a moment.
There
Did
was
they kiss?
none.
No.
They hug.
But he does kiss her on the forehead or the cheek at least twice. And it
So
just
maybe
felt,
it's all just platonic.
No, it feels a little more. They needed a moment in the context of the story that they never had.
Perhaps.
Yeah, that's a valid point, I think.
Amen.
It's been a scene with a look or something, just a bit more somewhere else.
Are these your favorites, Jill?
Oh no, this is just this is just my favorite.
This is just good advice.
It's just good advice. If you got a freezer and it's for dead bodies, don't put beer in it.
Well, interestingly, coroners often have little signs around because it's such a grim profession that people go to humor in order to just sort of survive the job. And there's often people put little signs up, reminding them, this is, a serious profession. Don't goof off too much. Don't be silly. And of course, you shouldn't really be drinking on the job.
Right.
You don't have to be
And
crazy
so
to work
this
here,
is-
but it helps.
That's what you're saying. Nobody's actually putting beer in these freezers. It's just a joke.
Oh, yes, they are.
Oh.
That's why that sign is there.
You
Because
shouldn't
somebody did.
freeze beer. You shouldn't freeze beer, ladies and gentlemen. If you put it in the freezer, make sure
It's gonna explode.
It's gonna explode. So
Don't let your boss find it.
Oh no, it's fine. Your boss will share with you. It happens every time.
Unless it's in a glass bottle, it won't explode like a can will.
If you're going to put something in the freezer, it should be something that doesn't freeze like vodka.
Yeah.
Vodka doesn't freeze.
Liquor in the freezer. That's a good idea.
I will liquor in the freezer.
Maggie, also known as Taylor Swift, greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU, gifted 1 Anti-Derivative Jill membership. Thank you so much. Who got that membership? Let's find out. Ages Flow. Ages Flow. Congratulations. Ages Flow will be notified that
Huzzah.
Ages Flow has gotten a membership. So congratulations if you hear this. And so there you go. That's this movie. And so I'm going to check out the chat. See what's going on here.
Yeah, when I saw this, I didn't realize it was written by the same guy that wrote Highlander.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. When you go to search for information with him, it's all Highlander all the time. You cannot find.
Yeah, but he also wrote Backdraft, and until we were doing this stream, I didn't know that there'd been a straight-to-video sequel to Backdraft, which is nuts to think that got by me because I was a big fan of Backdraft, the movie.
I don't know that movie yet.
Pulp Fiction, that's Quentin Tarantino's second film, I want to say.
Oh, Pulp Fiction, I do know. I love Pulp Fiction. Walken was in Pulp Fiction too, but not in any scenes with her. So they were in the same movie, but they didn't share a scene.
Yeah, he does that monologue about the watch in Vietnam and all of that.
That's a classic. Burger 414 says, define a good person. The general Western societal values that we think of as good and evil come from Judeo-Christian tradition.
Oh, I like to think they come from humanity myself.
Yeah, right.
No, not necessarily, because other societies have different values.
Yeah, exactly. So
Western
I don't know.
Societal values, I think, do come from Judeo-Christian.
I think. Yeah. I don't know. Everybody has their own philosophy on what makes you good, and I don't think it necessarily has to be Christian. I think everybody wants to be good to one another, more or less, hopefully. This is always a problem with film editing, how much backstory is useful and how much can be dispensed with. Franco Walker says, please subscribe, share, hit the like, and select live chat. Brings back memories of this film is edited for television.
Yes,
Yeah,
I noticed when
certainly
in your
was.
clips that everybody was using the F word, and I was just casting my mind back to last night and saying, did I hear the F word when I watched this film? I'm like, I don't think I did. So I believe I did see an edited version, which is a son of a bitch. I should have just paid for the darn thing.
There are 8 F words in this movie.
Interesting. Well, that's, 7 more than you need for a PG rating. So
oddly enough, also 8 monkeys.
Wow. I'm not familiar with these terms.
Very specific.
I get the idea.
Well, no, but okay, I can read them all actually. The prophecy, we belong together like monkeys in the trees. So that's
the bear song.
Oh, that's the song. That's the bear song. Some things in it
you human monkeys
talking monkey work. Monkeys
talking
like
monkeys.
you. Talking monkeys. You are looking at the cleverest, meanest, sickest talking monkey. I love him. I will not allow any talking monkey to take my place. Out of context, these lines are hilarious. Help us make it like it was before the monkeys. Humans, and how I love you talking monkeys for this, know more about war and treachery of the spirit than any angel. And Gabriel is well aware of this, and so I guess this is the devil talking. What do you know about that, you monkey? And that's it. Those are all the monkey lines.
That's a lot of monkeys. That's a choice.
It is a choice,
Yes.
And they did it. I don't know, it seems like he is everywhere because evil is everywhere, says Ginger Menace. But I'm hoping he's not like God to be the Alpha and Omega, too, Jill.
We're talking about the devil? No, the
Yes.
devil's just the devil. The devil's not like God.
Yeah, I don't think he's omnipresent.
Yes.
In
Yes.
the actual lore.
I did ask that, so I'm glad that she mentioned
Yeah,
it.
and it's a good question.
Sometimes I've heard people say that Earth is the devil's dominion, but no, I think hell is the devil's dominion. I think that if there are spirits on the earth that are other than God and other than the devil, I think that they're mixed. I think they're both good and bad. I think if there's bad ones, there have to be good ones. There has to be a balance.
I heard an interesting quote, the Super Bowl having just finished recently, and they said that there's a Super Bowl party for both teams, both the winning and the losing, but the winning team has a better party. And I feel that in some circles, the Hades, if you will, HE double hockey sticks, would be the losing Super Bowl party.
No.
Well, yeah. Well, if you watch South Park, they do still have parties. There's a time where they have a luau. Lord, I want to say hello to Lord Thoth. He's here.
I have heard so many people, postulate that hell would be a better time than heaven, but and people can make a good case for it, but I'll pass.
Well,
what's more, the George R.R. Martin gives a Hugo Losers party That's quite the ticket. That's the one everybody wants into during the Worldcon.
That's funny.
Yes.
That's really cool. I never knew he did that.
Oh, yes, he does.
That's
He pays for it himself, too. He's been doing it for years.
That's great that he does
Did
that.
he lose his Hugo to J.K. Rowling? Is that what happened to him? Yeah.
I'm sure he's lost many Hugos. You can't win them all.
Who wrote Twilight, Jill? Stephanie Myers?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's who Game of Thrones lost to.
Damn, really?
No, I don't
Really?
know. I'm making all of this up.
You
I just
are-
want to say hi to
You're a
Tim.
liar.
You might
You
have-
lie, you
I
devil.
know.
You
Yeah, no,
lie.
I didn't believe that for a second, even though I said really, because that is such garbage literature. I know that it never won an award.
I'm surprised.
I
you
am a
called it
Twilight fan.
literature.
I'm just saying here, folks, I'm a
Why?
Twilight fan.
I haven't
I
read the
I do not
books,
consider it garbage literature.
Okay. Fair enough.
But that baby,
Well, we
that
can
baby
disagree.
is freaky.
It is. That's the kind of point of the novel. It is a strange baby. It's a unique baby.
I can't read. Tim's talk is here on your left, and I appreciate that.
And
It's
he's
always
on
good to see
Team
you, Tim.
Jacob. That's hilarious.
I'm on
yeah, I
Team
think
Throw
I
the
am.
entire series in a fire.
I think I'm Team Jacob.
Well, I'm a fan of
yeah, I like
romance.
Tim. Tim's talk is great.
Oh, hi, Tim Stock. He's here.
He's got a fab channel.
He does.
And
He's pretty cool.
And Tim's talk, I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn, and I will be told and admonished after the fact, but
Sure. you may.
Tim, we're doing a Phantom Menace review on May 3rd, and you're a Star Wars guy, so...
Oh, that's a good call, actually. No, you're not out of
Great.
turn. You got lucky.
Does
I
it
did.
start at like 1:00 and finish at 1:05? That review.
Yes, we only talk about the pod race and peace out.
Yeah, that's it.
When I was a kid, yeah, that's what I watched it. I just like, I don't know. I preferred the N64 game.
Are we just going to play the pod race game and talk about
Yeah,
it? And then,
can we do
yeah,
that?
all right, then. Yeah, that sounds fun. It'll be like Mario Kart.
I don't know if I can. I'll have to do some tests on my other channel to see if I can play that game without copyright problems.
Well, and also, you and action games.
No, but this is a
No.
racing game. Racing games are different.
Are you good at racing games?
I'm better at racing games than shooting.
Okay. Anyway, moving on.
I'm rubbish at racing games.
Well,
Yeah, I quit after
I don't-
F-Zero.
I'm not promising anything or anything. I might give up on the game at some point.
Well, why couldn't you give up on the dig?
I don't know. I had to see how it ended. I had
She
to
wanted
see
to
them.
go all the way to that horrible nihilistic POS ending. The extra ending, even.
Oh,
Holy
you know
gee.
what? Yeah, she said, "Don't bring me back. Don't bring me back with that
She meant it.
special." Yeah, she meant it because what
Yes.
you bring back is not me.
Yes,
You're
and
bringing
I
back
have
an alien zombie of me, so don't do it.
Well, and I don't want to toot my own horn on this, but when asked if we should bring Maggie back, I was like, no. Because then
Yeah,
you'd get Amanda
you were
Plummer
right.
from this movie.
Well,
Reaper
the
was
one
a
thing
really
I did.
good TV show, Booger. You're right.
Oh yes, I was intending to read this comment. One of the best portrayals of evil, even though it was a comedy, was the show Reaper. And so, how does that portray evil? I've never seen the Reaper.
Oh,
Well,
it's a
Lucifer
comedy.
is, yeah.
Yeah, it's a comedy. It's good.
It's a comedy about Lucifer.
Yes, no,
am I
maybe.
thinking about Lucifer? I'm thinking about the show Lucifer.
And he's the actor who was in Twin Peaks, who played the father. Blanking on his name.
yes.
Oh, the
He's
guy
really-
who was in RoboCop.
He's really good. And
Yes.
he was the
Robert
the
Wise,
devil
not
in
Robert
Reaper.
Wise.
Yeah,
Something
it's
Wise.
Not,
His
not
last
Robert
name is
Wise. That's the
Wise.
director. But yes, Wise is definitely the last name. But yeah, and then one of my very favorite portrayals of the devil is Peter Cook and Dudley Moore's Bedazzled.
Ray Wise is who you
Yeah.
mean.
Ray
Yes, sir.
Wise, where Peter Cook is the devil. and that's really good too.
Yeah, there's so many things I haven't seen. I haven't seen so many portrayals of Satan. I'm not sure that's an avenue I'm actually wanting to go down, but I realize I have a lot of holes there.
You can join us next week on our brand new podcast all about Satan.
Daniel, that is a really good
portrayals
question.
of Satan in films and TV shows.
Daniel says it could be. Daniel says, "What happened to Christopher Walken? Was he destroyed, or did he go to hell?"
That is a great question.
We'd have to tune into to the prophecy. Yeah.
Which I watched and I have no memory of other than thinking it was really lousy.
Yeah, I can't remember a thing about it either.
But if he was destroyed, why drag him to hell? So
well,
I think that
yeah,
perhaps the devil has an ability to breathe life into someone so he can torture him again. So,
well, yeah, somehow he comes
call.
back for the next movie, so we know he's not destroyed. Since he comes back in 2 and 3, he's not destroyed in those movies.
Oh, RRTNZ. I was going to mention Peter Stormare as Lucifer and Constantine too.
Tiger Stripes. If you read somebody's chat who's ahead, please read the whole chat so I know what's happening.
Okay, then I'll hold off.
No. You don't have to hold off. Just read their entire comment so I know what is happening in the comment and then respond to it.
Will do.
No, I mean, okay. I'll read it
now. Okay, RRTNZ says Peter Stormare was my favorite screen Lucifer and Constantine. Gabriel Byrne is the only good thing about End of Days. And I don't remember anything about End of Days except how much I hated it. But I did rewatch Peter Stormare's bit towards the end of Constantine today to kind of compare and contrast him with Vigo. And yeah, he was really wonderful and really super creepy. Just super creepy.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Yeah.
Well, and also in Constantine, it is interesting that one of the actions of Lucifer is saving a person's life. Like I'm not saying that Lucifer is a good guy. I'm just saying he is a fallen angel, and there is some grace to his torments.
Anything he does serves his own ends. If he saves a person, it's not necessarily for the best.
That is what he says in this movie. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for me.
Mm-hmm. But there is grace to that. There's an honesty.
That's true. He's, in a way. Don Ranger Power is here. I just want to say hello. Thank you for being here. And also good afternoon to Dadman Walking.
Hey, Dadman.
He says, "Howdy, Jill. Hope you're well." I am. I hope you're well too. It's good to see. It's good to see you guys. And
there is before I just wanted to fit in again, going back to
Tim
Dogma.
Stock.
Hey, Tim. There is something that I've always found fascinating about Dogma and Celestial War is when Bartleby says to Loki, he says that humans were considered the greatest of God's creations. They were given this planet, they destroyed it. They are loved unconditionally, and some of them don't even believe that he exists. There is something about the pain of angels being put ahead of the adoration of humans in the eyes of God, I find fascinating. And then Lucifer being the first, and it's like, I've been saying this for years, Jill, or at least the one that we've known each other. It's like, were you fired? You get used to it. Same thing with Lucifer. It's like, you know what? Bad things happen, but, after a while, it's fine. There is something
that's what
about
this direct... Like, I just have to guess until Lance actually has the interview, but that is exactly what it seems like this movie's trying to portray, is that the jealousy from the angels for how they've fallen in the eyes of God compared to humans who might not even appreciate it. They think you're saying they don't even appreciate it usually. And
Well, I think he wanted to explore the darker side of angels, the potential of jealousy arising in their ranks, kind of thing. I think was his motivation for writing the script, if I remember rightly.
right, how they're portrayed more in the Old Testament than the New.
Yeah, which I call the accurate testament myself.
I'm a big fan of Jesus. He seemed fine. He probably had good musical tastes.
I think he's well portrayed
right
in South Park.
I thought he was best portrayed by Ewan McGregor in Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Yes, I agree with you, Mary, about that. But I won't tear it apart now since we have a fan right here.
Agree to disagree.
You agree to disagree. But you know what? We both love Tolkien, so one day I want to talk about that.
Well, I'm glad you said both.
Yeah, no, you don't have to. No, I'm thinking that's going to be a different kind of show.
Yeah, I'm not going to be here for that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
what, Twilight or Tolkien?
Tolkien for the Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan.
I'll Silmarillion myself out.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
You're not invited. Maggie says to share the stream. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion on the prophecy today. I don't know that I do such a great I don't know. My wheelhouse is science fiction, so it was really neat for me to step outside of my comfort zone today and talk about something that's a little more on the fantasy horror kind of biblical scripture stuff. And sure, and Lord Thos said I did great. Thanks. I did enjoy talking about it, and I enjoyed everybody's perspective on this particular movie. Does anybody have anything further they want to opine on the movie, and then tell us about what you're doing around on the internet? Starting with Tiger Stripes. Thank you so much for suggesting this film. I would have never saw it without you.
Do let's start with someone else.
Okay. Okay, I'll start with Scotty then.
Well, I love this spot, and especially when I'm put on it. No, this is fantastic. As I mentioned, this is a film that I've been wanting to see for decades, and it has enticed me to see at least the trilogy, if not all 5 of them. I am going to see if I can finagle myself the 5-film box set on Blu-ray, because this is fascinating to me. I really enjoy the I don't want to say theological or mythological, but I do enjoy the faith that is presented by this film, and it makes me question my own. And good fiction should make you sort of take a look at your own ideas, and that's fantastic. As for what I'm doing on the internet, mostly blasphemy. I am on the Phantasmagorium, and next week my co-host and I, Kat, are going to be finishing up Fargo season 4, and that's going to be a blast. But aside from that, Tuesdays are Star Trek with Jill, and Fridays are with whoever Jill lets me torture about whatever we want to talk about. So thank you, and it's a pleasure to be able to talk to you guys in the chat. You are fantastic, and it's also a pleasure to be able to talk to you guys on the panel. Tiger, great suggestion. You've enriched my life once again. And Lance, hey man, I am subscribed to your channel, and I can't wait to see more of these.
It's very kind, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm excited to. What do they say? Add your technological and biological distinctiveness to my own.
Different kind of evil Scotty mentions there at the end. Beautiful. Well done. Thank you, Scotty.
Deathly silence.
Yeah. Well,
That's what I do. Stream
well, no,
killer.
no, it's not that you kind of broke my brain because I wasn't thinking about the Borg in terms of an evil force of the universe. And now
Well,
I'm
and I
thinking,
didn't mean
are
to
the
apply
Borg
that
the
to
devils
Lamb.
of? Well, no, I'm I'm over analyzing it in context of the live stream. I'm sorry, but I think it is great. It's a great way to. Well, it's also a form of connection, and I think that's how you really meant it.
That is.
And before we get to Lance, I want to thank RRT and Z. Lucifer, as a character, was designed to rebel. It was built in his nature. He serves a purpose in God's plan. He has the illusion of free will.
Yeah.
Well, that's very predeterminist. I cannot agree with that.
And
saw a film where a couple
do.
of characters were discussing that. One was saying, if God is good, why does he give us the free will? And so many people choose to do terrible things. And the other person said, so we can be judged.
Well, to quote South Park, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, me neither. Like, both opinions I think are very interesting, and I don't know how I think about it or feel about it. But I do feel very happy that I got a $5 New Zealand super chat. So I need to find a good clip to play for it.
RRTN
What do you think?
is a very, very supportive person of YouTube channels. Generally, he's given me super chats before, and I see him being very generous with a lot of people. So he's a great guy.
We go.
Do you have a walk-in quote?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Unfortunately.
I knew it! That was good.
Yeah, I used to have a They Live poster on my wall behind me. It's now in the Critical Drinker's house.
Oh, you gave it to the Critical Drinker? Wow.
I did as a thank you present for something, yeah.
Aw, but that's really cool of you. Really neat.
I do still have the vinyl soundtrack to that movie signed by Roddy Piper. Because he came to a music store where I was working. Because he actually released a single. I don't know if you guys know that. He released a single in the 90s, and we had him come to our store to do an appearance, and I had a They Live soundtrack on vinyl, so I got him to sign that and my VHS video cover, and I got a picture with him. Sadly, no longer with us.
But a great man.
Yeah, he was really nice. He was really good with the kids and all of that kind of thing.
But it was really incredible having you on my show today, Lance, and I can't wait to talk to you about the cocoon and everything and all the things that you do. Can you tell us about what you're working on right now?
I've got a couple of slides I can put up. Funnily enough, one of them is for we haven't set a date for this yet because I needed to speak to this crucial guest who's coming on called Jill, who's watching Cocoon for the first time in the near future. That would be you.
Yeah, that is me.
Yeah, so when I heard that you were a sci-fi nut, but you hadn't seen Cocoon, I was like, oh my God, this is a film I have to introduce you to because it's such a beautiful film. I mean, it's got some pretty interesting religious themes, actually, depending on how you look at it. But it's one of my favorite films of all time. I stuck a slide there for you. I don't know if you want to share that.
Oh, sure. Let me see where it is. Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So we're doing a watch party and discussion. The idea is that you will have already seen the movie before we do this stream.
Yes.
But we will actually have the movie on while we're talking about it. When I do watch parties on my channel, we don't just all sit there and be quiet. That's kind of pointless. So.
Oh yeah, that would be awful. That would be a terrible thing to listen, especially on the replay. Because if you listen to it on the replay, you've got to be able to actually know.
Yeah, the idea is we've all watched it recently. So what I'm trying to do is arrange a date with you that we can do this probably either a Saturday or a Sunday at a time that suits you. I can be fairly flexible.
Oh, for sure. Sunday would be my favorite kind of day.
Yeah, so I think we have to wait for me to finish doing Masters of the Air, which I'm doing on Sundays. and there's 3 more episodes to go. So I guess we're going to do this in about 4 weeks' time, something like that.
Oh, sounds great.
If that
Awesome. Well,
sounds.
thank you so much.
And then another thing that I've got coming up, which you're going to love this. I'll show you a slide for it. So we're doing a review of this Jim Henson musical movie that most of you, well, all of you won't have seen. And I've got a couple of the cast coming on, and they're going to be being interviewed. And we're doing an interview with the cast too. It's a couple of the Muppet cast, the producer of the film, and the advisor on the movie. So if people are going, what? I'll give you another example of a stream that we did like this. So in Get Shorty, there's a film called Napoleon starring Martin Weir being played by Danny DeVito. So when the Napoleon movie came out, we did a legitimate review of Martin Weir's Napoleon, and we had the producer of the film come on and the military advisor, and we did a completely straight review discussion on that film for about 2 hours without laughing, which was really difficult. And we had all these stills from the film with Danny DeVito riding a dinosaur at one point, and all these crazy elements that were introduced. So this is what's called a parody film stream, where we review a movie that doesn't actually exist, but that Hollywood may well make one day. And okay, I get
Danny
access to the Outcast Creative to be on the stream and play roles connected to the film.
Oh, that's pretty great. I want to see Danny DeVito riding a dinosaur. Just sounds like something that should exist.
That one's already up. You can go back and watch that. It's under the It's under the special videos playlist on my channel because it doesn't really come under anything else. I think we're the only people on YouTube doing something like that live.
That's pretty creative. That's awesome.
We do
it's like writing a movie.
Yeah, we do it live, so it's like a 2-hour performance live. We have a little bit of a discussion about it beforehand, but it's all improvised, including the actors. They don't have a script or anything, and we just do these. We're going to do about 3 or 4 of these a year. So yes, and we've got various actors that are Muppet operators and things. So it should be pretty fun.
That's a clever idea.
I do a regular stream every Tuesday at 10 o'clock UK time, 5 o'clock East Coast, where we just talk about whatever we've been watching. And the channel tends to focus on the positive. In other words, stuff we want to discuss, that we want to promote, that we want other people to see. And I also do a lot to promote independent creatives. So if anyone's working on a comic or they're working on their first film or anything creative, really, reach out to me. I'm always happy to get you on for an interview and promote whatever it is you're creating. I like to support other creative individuals. That's hence the Outcast Creative, people that work outside the studio system.
Bravo, sir.
Yeah, that's incredible. That you have a really cool channel, and I really enjoy the fact that you joined us here. Thank you.
I love collaborating with other YouTubers. I'm all about that. And anyone's welcome on my channel anytime. If you see I'm doing a stream about something and you're like, oh my God, that's my favorite film. Because I know we're going to do one about What Dreams May Come. That's on the list. I think Tiger Stripes mentioned that earlier. I absolutely love that movie. Mm-hmm. And again, it's a movie of Robin Williams that quite a lot of people haven't seen. It's quite a difficult watch.
That was Scotty who mentioned that.
Oh, was it? Sorry, I just remembered somebody mentioned it. Yeah,
I don't care who mentioned it, but it is a very heartfelt film.
I do have to dash, however, so I do want to.
It's Tiger Stripes.
Sorry, I ran a little bit there. My apologies.
No. I wanted to hear everything you had to say. That's why I let you go. Because I wanted to.
404 Tiger Stripes found.
Well, thanks for having me on Anti-Derivative Jill.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It's a great little film. It's kind of modest, but Botho cast, good writing, good concepts, which I still think were borrowed, but that's all right. I don't think anybody's going to ask the writer-director that.
I think it's incredible for $8 million.
Yes. So it's nice to see you. It's nice to see everyone here. Nice to see everyone in the chat. Hello, chat. All right, then.
Yes, hello. Yes. Thank you. And thank you for recommending the film. You are why we are here today, and so I'm so glad you're here.
Well, we're here
Also-
because you have 666 subscriptions.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Oh,
That's also why.
yes.
Weird.
Yes.
Well, I got 670 now, but I passed.
No, we did this with
I took
intention.
the-
It's
Yeah,
not just a
I am-
coincidence.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't usually talk about horror or anything like that, so it's a different thing for me. And so it was a good time, and thank you for everyone being here for that. And I hope you guys you have a splendid Friday and weekend. And as for me, I'm going to have my Tuesday Star Trek show. We only have 7 Star Trek, the original series episodes left. Just 7 more episodes until Star Trek will be allowed to be in syndication in order to get, reruns on the television, and then we get the
some of that
movies.
Gene Roddenberry money.
Yeah, right. Some of that. Well, everybody gets a little money, but Gene definitely gets some. In any case, I will play the preview for the next episode that we're going to review, which is going to be The Lights of Zator, where Scotty gets a girlfriend. So this is going to be good.
Montgomery Scott, not me. Don't get excited.
Oh.
Oh, that's right. I should have made the distinction.
You should. Anyway,
So,
thanks again.
Where is it? Oh, there it is. Oh, before I go though, but since Matt G gifted us a free membership, I'm going to play a McDonald's video for him, and then we'll head out.
For you parents who don't speak Klingonese, he's saying, people of Earth, unite and bring your kids to McDonald's for a Star Trek meal. That's a regular hamburger, fries, soft drink, a McDonald and cookie sampler, and a Star Trek prize. Oh, yes, 5 different boxes based on Star Trek the Motion Picture. Action scenes, jokes, games. He says, take it from a father who knows. His kids love him. McDonald's Star Trek meal available for your kids now.
That was terrific.
It was. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Captain!
You ever seen anything like that before?
Negative.
She's dead.
We must get back to the ship. You'll be killed if we stay.
Prepare to lock phasers into the heart of the community.
Captain! When you fired the phasers, they stunned her and she crumpled. Another shot and you'll kill her!
All personnel, attention. Alien forces penetrated the ship. Take defensive action. Attention all personnel. Alien being has penetrated the ship.
Wait faster to them. You will all die.
Learn all that is learnable.
And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
It has always been easier to destroy than to create.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it. Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, you know, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.
See you around the galaxy.